have entered Alex's world, a safe space for wrestling fans like you.
Hello all and welcome to Alex's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I am your host, Alex, just Alex. This is our WWE WrestleMania 42 preview and predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, the big show is next weekend, live once again in Las Vegas. We are here to talk about it all, the good, the bad, the Pat McAfee of it all. We're going to get into it. It's going to be off the cuff, no restrictions. We're going to let loose. When it comes to WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, this is WWE's granddaddy, the grandest stage of them all, where we're supposed to see WWE put their best foot forward. You're going to get everything from me. But it's not just me, ladies and gentlemen. I have guests waiting in the back. Before we bring them on the stage, though, I need to make something very clear. Also, I need to talk about one other thing as well. In the description, there is a link to predictions. We would like you guys to click that link, click that Google link, and enter your predictions. And I do believe it will go straight to Mark by Wrestling. I think Mark by Wrestling will get access to all your predictions, and he might read it on air. Not too sure how he's going to do that. I'll ask him to explain that when he gets here. But yeah, if you guys would take the time to click that link and go ahead and enter your predictions for WrestleMania next weekend. Also, I do want to go ahead and plug them. Everybody that we bring on here is doing live streams for all shows, Raw, SmackDown, and including WrestleMania next week. So be sure you subscribe to everybody in the description. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I think the people are waiting for the superstars of the evening. Let's bring to the stage. You love them. You can't get enough of them. Marked by Wrestling and A&B Convos Wrestling Edition.
And this is A&B Convos Wrestling Edition.
It is, ladies and gentlemen. We in the building. We in here, ladies and gentlemen. You know how this goes. Let's start off with the celebrities of the evening. We got my boy A. He's standing tall. He's looking good. He ought to be in Hollywood. We got B. She's got style. She's got finesse. She's better than all the rest, including you, Brick Breaker. Yeah. And of course, we got the man with the plan. He is marked by Wrestling, Steven Sandridge. How we feeling tonight, ladies and gentlemen? How we feeling?
With a tear in my eye. This is really nice to be back on a show with you guys. It's been too long. Hi, everybody.
Man, it's been quite the build-up for WrestleMania, and quite honestly, I have been waiting to let loose about this. So if you guys don't mind, let's skip the preliminary. Let's skip the warm-up. Let's just go ahead and get to the deed, if you know what I mean. Let's talk about it. WrestleMania is next week. I got to kick things off, if you guys don't mind. I'm going to let you guys have your time. But
it's your house.
Since it is my house, as he said, I think it's good that I set things up. When it comes to WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to WrestleMania 42, once again, in Las Vegas. You know, it's funny to me, thinking about WrestleMania 42 back in October, this show felt a lot more special. The idea of getting Cody and Roman again in the main event, because that's what they were building to. Of course, Seth got hurt, but there was this idea that he could make it back to face Braun Breaker and other matches that we were teasing back then. Of course, Drew McIntyre winning the championship, probably going in to WrestleMania to fight whoever. By the time we got past Chamber, it's almost like what we got just came out of nowhere. WWE has been known for long-term storytelling. And usually we're able to see months ahead of time, this is going to be the main event.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoy what we have, the card that we got, and as much as I think the card is going to be great, the build-up, y'all might disagree with me, has been dog crap. Watching my words here early. It's been abysmal for me.
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs. No, but like, for real, to me, I always like to give Triple H. I always like to give anybody the benefit of the doubt. Maybe some things happened. Maybe someone got hurt. Maybe certain storylines weren't working as high. Okay, let's change it up. Let's do this. Let's go with that. It's ridiculous to me that when you think about what it took to get here, and you look at the card as it is, it's almost like Triple H was hijacked by the spirit of Vince McMahon, and he had to rip up the script multiple times, constantly changing his mind. And it's to the point where this Frankenstein buildup has gotten me almost wishing that, and I gotta watch my words here because I don't want to wish Vince McMahon came back, but I'm glad he's gone. But it is making me go, bro, what happened to the WrestleMania 40 Triple H? What happened to the NXT Black and Gold Triple H? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the card's not going to be great, but there is a side of me that is going to be very angry, knowing that these ticket prices are astronomical. They're ridiculous. 25% off is laughable. I'm sorry. That's not nearly enough, especially when you consider how much the travel's going to be, plane tickets, hotels. The fact that they are overcharging, overpricing people, couldn't even sell out the damn thing. They're at 40,000, 42,000 for night 2. They had 60,000 last year. That just show you how bad they're doing. It's going to piss me off that this show might actually still deliver, and it's going to encourage them. It's going to basically make them feel like, hey, everyone loved the show, so I guess the build-up didn't really matter, right? No. We can't justify the bad build-up because the show is great. The build-up was terrible. Pat McAfee being added to Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton ruined what could have been a 20-year odyssey of a main event that would have been great. No, we had to make it about Pat McAfee. And I'm sorry, when you look at the rest of the card, I also feel like none of these matches got the adequate amount of storytelling that would make me go, man, this feels like WrestleMania, except one match. We all know what that match is. And we're going to get to that in just a second. I love what we're doing with WrestleMania. I think the card is going to be great. I think when it comes out, when we're at the end, the tail end of WrestleMania, we're all going to say it was a great show. Getting there was hell. And that's how I feel about that. But that's just my opinion. Hey, I know you've been waiting to get your thoughts in on this. How we feeling about the build to WrestleMania?
What build? Let's just keep it a buck. Throwing some spaghetti against the wall and seeing the sticks does not qualify as a build. Right? And that's essentially what this has been. I'm not going to go ahead and say the whole thing has been garbage, but the reality is, I've said this many times on our show. A company as tenured as WWE, a company that has been doing WrestleMania as long as they've been doing it, a company that has as much money as they have, the resources available. The fact that you come to a Friday Night SmackDown, you bring Pat McAfee, and I'm not even going to get into at this exact second the whole heel turn thing, but you have Pat McAfee and Orton walking backstage to a truck talking about, does this feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania? I mean, they literally said the very thing that we, the collective fans, the IWC, whatever you want to call it, have been saying for weeks now. There is an inherent problem with that. The fact that you actually had to tune in to something that we have been saying and highlight it in such a way. You touched on something as well, and I want to make sure that I don't misspeak. He comes out here, him being Pat McAfee, and I'll be very, very brief. I'm almost done. He comes out here, and he basically is hawking 25% off coupons to WrestleMania. If I'm not mistaken, that's night 1.
Yeah.
That's not both nights.
No.
Okay, so let's be clear on this. 25% off night one only to a 2-night show.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that picture? This is a hot mess. And I'm sick and tired of the fact that they price people out for months and months and months and months and months. The greed has grossly taken over. That what was once a mom and pop shop, truthfully, even when it went public, it was still a mom and pop shop. It was a family business. Has now become a corporate conglomerate to such a degree that you've priced out the middle person, the middle class family, if you will. And so you're giving us a 25% coupon on night one. And you're expecting us to what? In 8 days, figure out how we can spend thousands of dollars, like you said, on plane tickets to fly a family out to some place that, quite frankly, hotels are already sold out. There's no room in the inn. And even if you can find something, what are these 25% tickets going to get you? Way up in the rafters, and you're going to now try to spend even more money, thousands of dollars still, even with that 25% off coupon. Because when you go to a store and you go, oh, 25% off of whatever, you're thinking in your mind, you're not good with the math, so you're doing the numbers. That's pretty good. You get to the cash register and you go, oh, that wasn't much of anything at all. Because you got taxes and whatever. That still sucks. I mean, something's better than nothing, but what I'm ultimately trying to say here is I don't like the idea that they're thinking they're doing us a favor. I don't like the idea that after all of this time, this is the best that they've given us. I'm sure the matches will hit. I have no doubt the matches will hit. But I also think that the matches are going to hit because everybody's heard the chatter. And they know that this is a situation where people are feeling that this has just kind of been, like you said, Frankenstein together, and we got what we got. So they have no choice. The wrestlers, they don't want to stink up the joint. So they're going to go out there. They're going to perform. They're going to show up. They're going to show out. So we know this. Mm-hmm. It's not a question of them. It's a question of the back office. It's a question of the presentation. I've said this on the show before, and I'll end with this. There was a show years ago, The Cosby Show, and they did a show where they're talking about presentation. You can put this and your steak and your potatoes and everything, just your 5-course meal. And you put that 5-course meal on a garbage can lid and you hand it to the WWE Universe and you say, here you go. But because it's on a garbage can lid, we're going to give you 25% off. Night one. And that's supposed to make us feel good? That's supposed to make us feel better about what you're presenting us? Yeah, that looks good. But what am I supposed to do with this on a garbage can lid? That's basically what I'm saying right now. You're handing us WrestleMania 42 on a garbage can lid, and I'm not happy about it.
How we feel about it, B?
It's really crazy because I was very confused day one as to why we did not get Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. That was the match. Cody and Randy is not the match. We had that match recently. It's not. If they didn't just do that not too long ago, it would have been different. But that was one of the matches you pulled out when you didn't know what else to do already. So then you thought if you made Randy heel again, that would be more exciting. And we could deal with a heel Randy because Randy has been heel many times. McAfee, it don't make no sense. The way he's acting right now, the way he's talking, he's never been like that. Flipping off the audience. You're not known for that. That's not the relationship you have with this audience. That's not the relationship you had with us when you was fighting Gunther. It just really came out of left field. And even if you wanted to have Randy's back to come at Cody and do all that, like it's not anything that any of us are like buying. The fact that they pulled Stephanie out to try to make it more exciting is desperate. It just seemed desperate. It was cringe to me. The fact that Pat McAfee's thing was cringe. And let me tell you this. If y'all want to give us 25% off coupon, first of all, WWE coupon on WrestleMania is funny as heck. But you want to do a coupon on WrestleMania, but you have the heel tell us about it?
Jesus
Who the
Christ.
hell thought of that? You have Cody come out and say, you know what, you're right. This is too damn expensive. I got y'all 25% off. That makes sense. He's the face of the company.
Gets him
He
over.
pulled springs. Then we would be like, oh, okay, yeah, Cody cares. He da-da-da-da. You have the heel say, fine, here's 25% off because of ramp. What are you talking? Who is smoking what backstage? I am so confused by all of it. I just was embarrassed for them. I'm embarrassed for them. And it's sad because last year we thought the build was bad. Oh my goodness, give us last year back. I have no interest in seeing Cody and Randy at all. Now Jelly Roll, I thought it was funny as heck that he almost put his hands on the GM. He was ready to fight. He was like, he thought he was back in prison. He was ready to fight everybody.
He's about to shank a fool.
Now I like Jelly Roll, and I liked him stepping to Pat. I like that, and I felt like that kind of made sense because he was in it last year, whatever, and that kind of matches the character he was in last year. But still, y'all just sound desperate all the way around, trying to bring in celebs, trying to save it because y'all made the wrong decision. There was no reason to take that from Drew and not give Drew and Randy that spot. That would have been so much more meaningful. We really wanted this, Randy, and I feel like I don't know. Like you're right. There's one main match that we're all like, woo, looking forward to. But even just to take the Usos belts from them when they did so unceremoniously, like so just like whatever, right before WrestleMania, I just don't know what's going on. I feel like, did your whole staff get COVID and y'all was out and you just didn't know what to do? Because I'm just confused. I'm confused.
Right. Well, Steven, you've been around all of the heat online. You've seen the backlash. You've seen the crazy takes, even certain ones that are clickbait. Let's just be real. But I feel like with you being amongst all the craziness, I'm curious to know your perspective on this build-up for WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, for starters, I want to make a clear line of delineation because, for those of you who are seeing me for the first time, hi, nice to meet you all. Mark by Wrestling. I tell everybody on my channel, it's okay to be a mark because being a mark means you believe and believing makes wrestling better. So screw yourself, Pat McAfee, for using that as a derogatory term. It's because of Mark's. The Cody was 100% right in his promo, like it's in quoting Paul Bosch and Houston Wrestling and like all that stuff. Like Mark's. It's because of Mark's that any wrestler in the world is relevant in the first place. And so that goes to Ricochet, that goes to every troll online who likes to use words like that and denigrate people. We all know this is a TV show and we're passionate about the TV show we like. So like nobody goes and, drops turds on fans of the Pit or, Succession or something like that. Like wrestling's this weird ecosystem and where it's this sort of abusive relationship sometimes between the talent and its customers, as Cody accurately called them on Friday, right? So anyway, I want to make a clear line of delineation. First of all, like as a channel and stuff, as a presence, I try to come from a place as a net positive because it's so easy to be sucked into the toxicity of the IWC because as a family, as a large internet community, we are some short attention span having people.
Yeah.
I just want to drop a little bit of knowledge here because also if you can peek behind me, I don't think there's anything other than that title that my kids got me for Father's Day last year or 2 years ago. Most of my stuff references 20 or more years ago in wrestling. So, I come from an older place. So you can tell by my beard. But most WrestleManias have bad builds outside of one match or two matches. Most of them are forgettable. I challenge any of you to go through Wikipedia, go to Wikipedia, start at WrestleMania 1 and work your way to the present and be like, what do you mean Rick Martel was in a tag match at WrestleMania 3 with Tom Zink? Who's Tom Zink? Like most of these matches were one match cards or two match cards and no women, by the way, which we'll get to that later for all the clickbaiters who want to say we're somehow misogynistic or anti-feminist. This is the most feminine WrestleMania of all time, statistically. Nevertheless, most WrestleManias have had bad builds. The IWC's darling WrestleMania X7 which is only their darling because of an overrated Limp Bizkit song, had a terrible build. The main event had a terrible build. Stone Cold and The Rock, where Austin made one of the worst heel turns this side of John Cena. Their feud was all about Deborah until they dusted off Fred Durst like 2 weeks before the show. This was also a week or 2 weeks after WCW was purchased, and they didn't use WCW at all on that show. They put him in a skybox, kicked him in the butt, and said, "This McMahon took your job, Daddy." Like that's what they did. So, you know what? People still love that show. People still love X7 because when the bell rang, it delivered. This show's going to deliver, and frankly, you know, to a degree, I disagree with y'all. The build for this show has actually been far better than it gets credit for. I'm just going to drop a few things. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch have been feuding since last September. Seth and Liv Morgan have had back and forths. They've been building since the Rumble. Cody and Randy. We'll get to Cody and Randy, but it is what it is. That match has been in concrete pretty much since Elimination Chamber because they switched the belt right after it. We don't need to say nothing about Brock and Oba because we're all on the same page. The universe is on the same page about Brock and Oba. Finn and Dom been in the works for months. Honestly, giving grace to creative about them having to pivot because of injuries. We don't have Braun Breaker. We don't have Bronson Reed. We don't have Bianca Belair. We didn't think we had Rey Mysterio, although homie was just playing sick, I think, until Gunther got a match. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm good." That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Now, all that to say, if it's not because of an injury pivot, the ladder match is probably the only zero build match. The women's tag titles have been fought over, and all these teams have been in the mix for months as well. So, like, this card did not come out of nowhere.
Right.
And so, honestly, people want to ride the wave of their distaste in the company, and which honestly, I think sometimes our distaste gets a little misdirected. I'm firmly on board with people having an issue with TKO and their business structure. The fact that we didn't even say this in the opening. The fact that they went back to Vegas for a second year instead of staying in New Orleans when they announced it. And the ticket prices, like, and if I can just try to if I could try to bring down the temperature a little bit, guys, I mean, the way they executed the discount price of the tickets was stupid. And Becky was right. They had an opportunity for Cody to announce that instead of Pat McAfee. I have a lot to say about people getting on the mic and telling a paying crowd that the product they paid for sucks. We'll get to that later. But at the same time, guys, with a company like TKO, you're going to have to prove to them over time to pressure them to lower the ticket prices to a substantial amount. You're not going to get Costco hot dog prices on Saturday. You know, like that. That's going to take time, and I don't know if some people will ever be satisfied with it. But all that to say, I think there needs to be a healthy amount of positivity in conjunction with the negativity. I've never shied away from a valid criticism of the wrestling I watch, but I also like to invest enough energy and time and emotion into finding the things I like about it. And there's a lot of matches that when they were announced, I was like, fine. But now that we're week of, I'm like, okay, you have my attention now. And so which proves to me, not every match needs a 6-month build. Not every match needs sometimes all you need is a My Way promo. Let me give Fred Durst his credit, because that promo wasn't made the day after the Royal Rumble. That promo came out, I think, close to after the purchase of WCW. So like late in the game. So like it was almost a go home promo between Rock and Austin that really set that on fire. So if you don't have to build for 6 months, why would you? Because at the same time, last year, Mania was maybe a week later than it is this year, I think, or close to it. And I was one of the people. I was like, there is too much time between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania now. And so you can't start the build early anymore. So I've said many times when I'm watching NXT with my crew, some of them are in here today. I would rather them switch the Elimination Chamber to January and switch the Rumble to February and have Rumble and Mania be back to back again.
That's how it should be. Really.
So you can really concentrate that build and let it, you don't have to cool it off and then ramp it up again, which does happen from time to time, and it's not a perfect card, but they're also not in a perfect situation either. So I'm here to bag on TKO all y'all want, but I will do a healthy amount of defending of Triple H and the booking of this WrestleMania, because he's walking into this year with not a perfect situation. And it is clear, again, whether it's a kayfabe hands in the pie, which I'm not crazy about, or a legit one, that, they're playing the hand they've been dealt this year. Although they should have played that hand in New Orleans and not in Vegas a second year.
You know what, man? I'm excited to get your perspective on all of this, and I don't want to waste any time. Let's get right into the card. Actually, before we do that, there is some news that we have to discuss really quickly. As you guys know, WrestleMania has 7 matches on night 1, but only 6 matches on night 2. Word is going around, they are going to add Io Sky and Asuka for night 2. And I think we all kind of figured that this match was going to happen eventually. I was getting worried that it was not going to make WrestleMania. Maybe they were going to push it off to Backlash, which would have been stupid, by the way. Or maybe even worse, push it off to the Raw after WrestleMania. I feel like these two deserve to be at WrestleMania. Io Sky was my wrestler of the year. These guys were here. I said she was undoubtedly the best performer of 2025. Best
match of the year last year.
Match of the year, best wrestler, best main event with Rhea Ripley at the women's pay-per-view, Evolution 2. For her to miss WrestleMania altogether, that would just feel wrong. So yeah, I do believe we are going to get this match. I guess we can make predictions. Do we see this match happening? How about this? Let's do this. I can go around the table here. Do you see this match happening at WrestleMania? And if you do, I guess who are you picking to win here? I think the easy prediction is Io Sky. Kairi Sane clearly turns on Asuka. We get the big babyface turn. All of the abuse, she gets her come up. It's great moment for WrestleMania. That would be an easy prediction. But what about you, A? How we feeling about this match happening at WrestleMania? And if you have a prediction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot imagine why they wouldn't do that. Like you said, right now, the women's, this is a very heavily laden women's WrestleMania, which I absolutely love. I don't know if you're going to find bigger proponents for the women's division than these two people right here. We absolutely are thrilled that they're getting time to shine. But it is a little lopsided, like night 1 and night 2 as far as the women's matches. So it would make sense to add these two in here, especially due to the fact that you don't really have anything. You kind of did something with Io a week or so ago, where she just kind of came out there out of the blue, and it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Where the money is this history that Io and Asuka have. And I like Asuka's promo that we just cut. I would love to see another promo, because I saw something that we did with Royce Keys, and I would love for them to get some old footage of Io and Asuka back in Japan or wherever, piece that together, and really solidify to the fans how deep this goes, how long this history between these two ladies goes, and that will bring it that much more to the table. That'll bring that much more to the table, if you will, when they do finally meet. So my prediction for that match, honestly, as much as I feel that it should be Io, I'm really wanting Asuka to get this done. I'm really wanting Asuka to get this done. But what will be the best thing to do? This is giving me Return of the Jedi vibes, if you will, where you've got, if anybody remembers that at the end of the film, you've got Luke, you've got the Emperor, and you've got Darth Vader, and Darth Vader finally turns. He's been sucked into the dark side for all of this time. That's kind of what I'm seeing with Kairi Sane. I would love to see Asuka beating Io down to the point where it finally snaps Kyrie out of it, and she turns on the Emperor, so to speak, and then we get that dub. So I think what will end up happening is that Io will actually get the win.
That would be crazy. What do you think about that, B? And of course, the match happening.
Well, first of all, this is one of the matches that I disagree with Steven, that I think they botched, because how the hell are you going to have Io Sky lose clean to Jade Cargill when she's never lost to Rhea Ripley? But then we expect to have that not affect our prediction on Rhea and Jade. And I don't know why you did that to Io. Now we expect Io. First of all, Asuka should have 1000% interfered in that match, causing the loss,
Absolutely.
protecting Io. And then Io and Asuka would have went on, and then I could have gave my predictions that maybe I could have had Asuka's back. But if you bring that match in now, you cannot have Asuka pin Io after Io just lost clean to Jade.
Yeah.
That is burying her when she is such a phenomenal wrestler. Yes, she botches sometimes 3 Diglets, but so does LA Knight, so does plenty of people. Things happen, but she always recovers well. So I can't imagine that I would want her to be buried twice in a row like that on a clean victory, unless it was an interference of some sort. So if that's going to happen, I need Io to have the win so she can recover, because I just think that they completely botched that, as much as they botched Roy's keys. Because the same way that man should have been coming out a long time ago. You want to do all these backstage interviews and you want to do promo. Then you have him randomly come out right before WrestleMania, but not in enough time to give him anything going on so he could actually be a part of WrestleMania. Why would you somehow make him a part of a triple threat? You think we don't want to see him, Oba, and Brock? Talk about breaking the ring or something. So I feel like it's not that they just did what they had to do with what they had, because you had Royce Keys and you had Asuka and Io, and all of that should have been worked in there. None of that was worked in there. And like I said, you never should have took the belt from Drew when you did anyway. So I feel like when they made that wrong call, then you're in a situation where you're grasping at straws. They just made the wrong call. So
Right.
Yes, I don't have a problem with those other matches. I've always wanted to see Dom and Finn. Thought that was a great build-up. The other matches with the ladies, I don't have a problem with any of that. But I do have a problem when your main title is whack, when that match is whack and you're trying to save it with Stephanie, you're trying to save it with Pat, you're trying to do what you can, because we don't care about that. We just don't. Well, I don't. I've just seen it too many times. So, sorry, I digress. So I would say Io.
And of course, Steven, do you feel the match should happen at WrestleMania? And then, of course, does Asuka continue her reverse taker streak at WrestleMania?
The anti-taker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reserve the right to be upset and critical and disappointed if they don't book the match tomorrow, right?
Right.
But I'll say this: I won't brand them a failure until we know that match isn't happening, because if you look at the slate, which you pointed out for everybody, just Alex, the night 1 and night 2 scales are out of balance right now. Night 2, which, if I'm being honest, looks like the card that WWE as a company is more proud of. If I'm saying anything, like that is like the "Hey world, we want you to pay attention to us" card. This is who we really are, because all of their like 8x10 popular household name kind of, this is Roman's night.
Yeah.
This is Rhea's night. This is Brock and Oba's night. Rey Mysterio, even though homie is old and getting his AARP card, he's on that night too. So like, this is, I feel like that's their like bright spotlight night. They've got one more slot on that night if they want to add a match. And I'm going to predict Brock and Oba is not going to be a long match. So they're probably going to have even more time to fill. All that to say, if I'm sitting at that creative table and the stupid little Unreal cameras are on me, I'm like, guys, there's one match in our entire company that isn't booked for this card, that already has a long build heading to it already, that is a slam dunk, and we can add more women to the card. It's Io and Asuka. Like it's it's so elementary. It's so, this is one of those cases where being predictable is the best choice. Like, do the predictable thing, add them. Yeah, just make a video packet because they've been, if you didn't know that match wasn't on the card, you'd think it was because they've been spending months building tension between each other. So since nobody asked, I'm going to pretend like someone did ask me to book this situation. I'm going to tell you what I'd do in that situation.
Let's go.
Real quick, too, just want to have a kind, gentle, and civil disagreement about how Io's been handled. She got mollywopped last Monday by Jade and B-Fab with kendo sticks. She was one blade job short of doing the Jimmy Uso thing that Gunther did to him in front of Jay. And so when I found out, sorry everybody, I'm something of a busy man. Couldn't watch all of SmackDown. When I found out she lost clean to to Jade, I was like, well, of course she did. She got the brakes beaten off of her on Monday. So like in my mind, that is protecting her because she's already been gang jumped by Jade and her baddies. And also you want to that also makes your world champion look stronger. Your world champion has beaten somebody, Rhea, that you can't beat. So it makes you actually you can make Rhea look like an underdog, which is very, very hard to do because she's a monster. It's just how I see it. But you know what? They may make me look like an idiot come Sunday. We'll find out, right? So anyways, but yeah, I would have Io beat Asuka because I would have Kairi, whether intentionally or unintentionally, I don't care, missed Asuka in the face.
Right.
And Io takes advantage and wins. And then when they go to, is it Italy for Backlash? Give those ladies a triple threat. Let Kairi get in the ring too. And I honestly maybe have Kairi win that one. Let her be her own woman.
Wow.
Let her break free and win. I think Asuka would have to take the L again on that one. Which, listen, huge Asuka fan. Okay,
right.
But also I think it needs to be brought up in the public space that Asuka has literally in terms of trophies and titles, she is a female John Cena, Miz, Shawn Michaels. She's won everything a woman can possibly win in WWE. So for me, in terms of burials and fumbles and all those words we like to use sometimes, she's Teflon for me. Like I don't think she can take an L big enough to damage her at this point. I think her legacy is cemented. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like she's achieved all the things she can achieve, and now just having her involved with anybody elevates the person she's with. So I really hope they add that match, because they've already done their homework in building that match without actually announcing a match for it. So you could just drop the announcement for that match on Monday, and then this weekend be like, hey, my popcorn's already ready. My popcorn's been ready for this match. Let's do it and let's watch it. So anyway, if that match happens, yes, I would go Io all the way to win that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hope that match gets added, because that would literally take Night 2 up to a level that, hell, that's going to make WrestleMania 42 feel like actual WrestleMania. Another match that makes WrestleMania feel like WrestleMania, unlike a lot of other matches here. Spoiler alert. But enough holding off on these matches. Let's just get right to Night 1. The first match I have here is the celebrity match of the evening, featuring IShowSpeed and The Vision taking on Usos and L.A. Knight. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to kick this one off. This will be the quickest prediction for me. It's kind of hard for me not to see the baby faces winning this one for one reason. IShowSpeed is cursed. Danhausen has cursed IShowSpeed. That means whatever he does, he's going to fail. He is not going to be successful, and that's okay. I think IShowSpeed showed us that he is great at selling. That's one of the things that we've seen on that. What was that show where he was training with Randy Orton and he was training to be a wrestler? Forgot what it was called. Some of you will tell me in the comments. But yeah, he's really good at actually putting people over. He had LA Knight on his stream come in literally and throw him into his set to sell the match. So we know what he's there for. He's the fall guy. And as a celebrity, that's the perfect spot for a celebrity, honestly. Should LA Knight be in a bigger spot? Sure, but at least he's on WrestleMania. Should the Usos be in a tag team championship match? Sure, at least they're on WrestleMania. I had no issues with what they're doing here. Easy win for the Usos in LA Knight. In and out. How we feeling about this match, eh? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. All right, look. Here we go. I'll try to be as brief as possible. And I want to ask everybody here on the panel a question. Everybody in the chat a question. Legitimate. Yeah. Do we feel that putting the tag titles onto the division has elevated them or done them any good in any way, shape, or form? I really want to know.
No. None.
No, but I think taking that. This is not what you asked, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think it was a better decision to take the belts off the Usos than put them on division. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
But no, it is not doing anything for the Division B team right now.
No, it's not. And so this makes things feel very disjointed for me. I love the animosity that LA Knight and Jay still have. The fact that LA Knight is cool with Jimmy but not cool with Jay. Jay's just not having it. I love that.
Yeah.
But you just put these guys back together. They just got some entrance music of their own. And so it makes me feel a type of way. I don't know how else to say it, that happened. Okay. So coming into this match right out of the gate, I'm not loving it. I'm not McDonald's on this, I'm not loving this, right?
Love it.
IShowSpeed's addition to it, I think, is going to be very interesting. He's actually very athletic. And so taking that hella spear, which I'm sure we all still remember, from Braun Breaker. I mean, my gosh, the man's soul. I've seen a lot of stuff in in professional wrestling. I've never seen a man's soul actually leave his body from a spear.
Hit him with that Doctor Strange spear.
Yeah, Doctor Strange spear. The Doctor Strange spear. Right.
And didn't he say he was never going to come back after that?
Yeah, he said he's done with WWE. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing. If it's crazy for me to say in this match, the one thing I'm actually looking forward to is IShowSpeed's performance, and that's all I got to say about that.
B, before you go, I want to read this super chat because you are involved in it. Danny Truth Magnified says, B coming in with pure logic and no nonsense commentary. They have already ruined the appeal for Asuka versus EO the way they have recently booked EO. I would love to be excited about that match, but I don't know, B. How we feeling about this match, though, B? Who you got winning?
Hey, who'd you predict? Sorry.
Oh, you predicted the Usos, right?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get my prediction. You're right. My apologies.
Oh. Most important part.
You're right. Yeah. I totally botched that. So my prediction for this, actually, I'm going to go with Team Uso, Team LA Knight. So you've got Steven. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So that's two for the baby faces. How we feeling about it, B?
It's really hard for me because I do feel like off the jump, you would just look at it and be like, oh, they threw IShowSpeed in there. First of all, much like you were saying, the way that Logan Paul has put everything into learning wrestling and gave us such a good show. I have learned not to underestimate the whole celebrity thing. I think IShowSpeed is going to take this just as seriously as Logan Paul. He already knows he could get hurt. He could get hit hard. I think he's probably really putting the work in. So I'm also actually excited to see what he could do. And I think it's going to be a really good match. I don't know. It's so weird to me because I feel like did you really take the titles off of the Usos just to give it back to them? And even if it's not doing them any good to have it, I kind of feel like they need it because Bronson and Braun are still out. They kind of need the titles to have something. So I actually think I'm going to go for the heels in this.
Wow.
And hope that this actually, they're able to somehow turn this around and these belts will help them because they need it without the rest of their crew. And if they still have Paul Heyman with them, they're still invested. I just think that without them, they might fade away, and they don't want that to happen. They want them to hold spot for Bronson and Braun to come back. So I'm gonna go against y'all and go with the heels.
Wow. Danhausen curse be damned. Still picking heels.
Well, maybe he'll uncurse them before some, who knows.
I like it though. All right, Steven, how we feeling about this match? Who you got?
Well, first off, I just want to point out, like, this is one of the two matches on night one that's going to be broadcast on ESPN2.
That is true.
So it's going to be one of the first two matches of the night. So they're going to put a lot of eyes on it, which means I am interested in what Speed has planned. Speed has grown on me a little bit. I was not a happy camper to see him take a spot from somebody in the Royal Rumble, even though he took that spear like a man, and he's got all my respect for that. But also I want to just pause and say, I use the term celebrity loosely because it's the 21st century and he's a streamer and stuff. But given how broad celebrity is and AJ, you'll agree with me on this. We've talked about this before. Ain't nobody in this world ever going to achieve like Michael Jackson in the 80s level worldwide fame anymore.
Right.
So what it means to be a celebrity, and we'll get to this later. I'll revisit this, but I'm just going to say a brief version of it now. We'll never have another 1984 Mr. T or 1998 Mike Tyson or even a 1995 Lawrence Taylor level or a 95 Pamela Anderson involved in a WrestleMania that's going to be that level of worldwide, universally recognized and loved fame. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So taking everybody in their time and in their context. So all that being said, if you're going to utilize the Lil Yachty's and IShowSpeeds of the world and all this stuff, this is actually a fantastic place to put Speed in. You put him in a match that's going to be featured on TV. You put him in a 6-man, so he doesn't have to do everything by himself. All this other stuff. I think there will be some malfunction at the junction, as they say, and I think the Vision will win this match. I think the Usos and Knight will probably control the match. And I think something's not quite curse, not like a curse level, but I think something is going to go wrong just enough that Jey Uso is going to lose his temper on LA Knight post-match.
Oh,
wow.
And I won't say that Jimmy fully joins him, but they seem really invested in the temper of Jey Uso. And I think, like, I don't think they can just win the match and yeet their way out of Las Vegas. I think I was with you guys at the beginning of this question. I actually had already written down Usos and LA Knight in my slot. And then the longer we talked, the more I thought about it. And I was like, what would make the Usos meaner by the end of night 2 of WrestleMania?
Oh, he's thinking long term. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think instead of winning and turning, it's getting embarrassed on night 1 and having a chip on your shoulder.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. Give me the NWO team Vision. Give me Stevie Ray and Vincent with the tag belts.
So, Steven, are you saying that the Usos we're going to see them night 2?
I think they will make an appearance, yes.
Wow.
I think I know where he's going with that, too.
I like that.
That'd be crazy.
No, I agree.
So 2 for the heels, 2 for the baby faces. We got that down, Steven?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let's keep it going. We have a special guest coming in. That's funny.
Photobomb.
We also have another match happening. I also believe this is happening on ESPN2. The unsanctioned match. Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu. These two have been beating the ever-living hell out of each other over the last month or so. It's been very bare bones, basic build. They can't keep their hands off of each other. they bring chaos and destruction wherever they go. They can't have a regular match. It has to be unsanctioned. WWE is taking their hands off of it. Do we get blood in this match? That's the question I ask all three of you. You know what? I'm gonna let you start with this one, Steven. How you feel this match is gonna go, and who you got winning?
This match should get blood, but again, this is the other match that's going to be on ESPN2, so I don't know if they'll give it to us.
Damn.
That being said, I hate to pretend like the smart mark in this situation because I hate that so much. So it's a little bit of self-loathing I'm about to do here. I know Drew's going to film a movie, and Jacob, but listen. Out of the two of those guys, the guy who has the most potential upside to get hot right now and have it stick is the Samoan Werewolf. I think, in my opinion, and I love Drew. I actually am a little sad that these two are fighting each other because that means one of them's got to lose. I'd love for both of these guys to have matches they would have won at Mania. But Jacob, I think he takes this match. And he looks dominant. I mean, not squashing. I'm just saying by the end of the match, there is a clear winner and a clear loser. And Drew, takes his little powder and Jacob looks menacing by the end of this match. He's just a little bit away from being surrounded by guys in the ghetto yelling, 24-hour lockdowns, shoe program. I run this. You just live here. I run stuff here. Like he's just on the edge of getting to those Alonzo level promos again and stuff. So like I absolutely am picking Jacob 100% for this match. And also, not for nothing, I'm not predicting it, but I'm just going to say I won't be shocked if that's not the last we see of Jacob at WrestleMania either.
Bro, come on now. The whole family? Oh,
not the whole family. Not the whole family. Rikishi stays at home.
Okay.
Rikishi stays at home.
I like that. I can't wait for your prediction. That's going to be great.
I don't know about that, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it.
Hey, we still got the main event to come up. Before I go to A and B for their predictions, quick super chat from Travis, the Gaming Snorlax. Manning cast for first hour of WrestleMania? Question mark?
That would be amazing. Oh, that would be awesome.
It really would be. Also, let's show love to the super chat champ himself, 3 Diglets. He says, let's be honest. Who really cares about the Usos and the Vision? Or L.A. Botch, for that matter. The only thing I'm looking forward to is Speed's WrestleMania entrance. The King has
What?
Thank you so much, Speed Diglets, for being here and for your donation. But getting back to A and B combos, how we feeling about the unsanctioned match? I'll start with you, B. Let's go with B. Ladies first. How we feeling about this unsanctioned match? Do you think we're gonna get blood, and who you got winning?
I agree that with it, that they may not feel comfortable doing the blood, but sometimes you can't necessarily plan blood, and I don't understand how you would have dudes this big going. First of all, I think we'll probably get a ring collapse, and second of all, I mean, well, no, maybe not a ring collapse. I skipped over to my exciting match for a second. Never mind. Right. I was like, no, I just skipped over. I'm sorry. I was thinking about that and I skipped somewhere else, my ADD. I agree that that Fatu is the one to really but they both are heavy hitters, so we may get blood anyway, but they are I think that they're gonna really give us a really good match. Drew's known for giving good matches. And I think that Jacob I think he'll step up and that he'll go the distance with them. I do have a problem with Jacob pulling his punches sometimes too. And I'm hoping that he doesn't do that with Drew, because if anybody can do heavy hits, it's Drew. So I hate when I see people in the ring with people like Drew and they're pulling their punches. And I actually noticed that with the Usos recently too. And Cody. Like, I just need, like, don't miss and don't don't be like 2 inches away and not even connect.
Oh my goodness,
You're
don't
trying
do
to
that.
show us like how tough you are. And so I don't want to see that. So I'm hoping that we're not going to see any of that in here with Jacob and Drew. But I'm gonna go with the werewolf as well. Like I think that it just makes sense. And I guess maybe that's why they took the title off him, because they weren't trying to give Jacob the title. But yeah. So I'm gonna go with Jacob for the win.
How we feeling about it, eh? Do we get blood? Who you got winning?
Let's keep one thing in mind here, ladies and gentlemen. This is an unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
Okay? I repeat, this is an unsanctioned match. I've said this many, many times. If the name is in the PLE, if the name is in the match, I better see X, Y, and Z. We saw a little color with the wraparound of that chain, which, by the way, constantly, and I don't know who was to blame for that. I don't know if it was Drew. I don't know if it was a prop person, but those chains just kept coming unlocked. Like, that was just absolute insanity. But we got a little bit of color, and I'm hoping that's a setup for their upcoming match. If it isn't, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be talking about that mid-match. It's an unsanctioned match. I don't care if it's on ESPN2. Okay, I don't care where it is. You teased us with a little bit of color. You better follow through with a little bit more in an unsanctioned match. With that said, Jacob Fatu for the dub.
If Undertaker was booking, he'd call for blood.
Oh my goodness, he's doing a great job with AAA. By the way, I know he's booking that.
He's
show.
doing great.
You want my blood? Take my blood.
I'm just saying, man. Careers were built on it. So come on, man up and get a little bit of blood on that. Let's go.
First blood.
For me, I'm gonna keep it simple. If this is gonna be on ESPN2 and this is for free, and the idea is to hook people to, hey, putting down that money to see the rest of the show, we need that match that's gonna make people go, oh, I gotta see more. And because of that, I do think we're gonna get blood. I am expecting this to be all kinds of crazy. Drew McIntyre basically broke his body when he had that Hell in a Cell match with CM Punk and probably lost a little bit more blood than he should have. But when it's time to bleed, oh, he gushes it. So I think what we got on SmackDown was just a taste. We are going to get blood. And last I checked, there isn't any other violent, hardcore match on either card outside of this. So, yeah. I do believe this is the match that is going to be probably the bloodiest. We're going to get a lot of crazy spots. Jacob Fatu is definitely winning, and not because Drew McIntyre is going to go film. And his filming schedule is not even going to be all that important anyway, so he's going to be doing it for like a couple of weeks, and then he'll be back. But I think it's time we establish Jacob as a main event player. As like, yeah, this guy's a world champion. He's someone that can be WWE champion. I think this match is going to do that. And so I'm expecting this to be crazy. Jacob Fatu will definitely win it. And then we're off to the real card for WrestleMania, if anything else. So that's my prediction. You got all of that, Steven?
We're good.
Let's talk about this match. This one's going to be controversial. And I would like to open up with this one. We got Seth freaking Rollins making his return after injury, taking on the Ring General Gunther. Originally, we all know, this was supposed to be Seth versus Braun Breaker. I think that was in the plans probably around December when they were confident that Seth would be able to make WrestleMania. Braun got hurt. Braun would not be able to make, he wouldn't be able to make WrestleMania for this match. I do think we're going to get Braun in this match, though. Just to kind of get to my prediction here, I think this is going to be the setup to get to Seth versus Braun, because I do see Braun interfering to take Seth out of this match, because I do not think it would make any sense to have Seth return and he just loses clean to Gunther. That would be a mistake. Vice versa. I think it would be a mistake for Seth to just beat Gunther clean after Gunther has gotten all this heat. He ended Goldberg's career. He ended John Cena's career. He ended AJ Styles' career. You can't just have Gunther just lose to Seth. So we're going to get an interference. My prediction is Braun Breaker costs Seth Rollins. Gunther wins, and he goes on to fight the Beast at SummerSlam. Just calling that one early, too. A and B Convos, how we feeling about this match? I guess I'll start with A. How we feeling about this match, A? Who you got winning?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's interesting about this. This is one of those things where I just kind of feel like they for obvious reasons, like you said, we got some injuries, so we have to pivot a little bit. So this feels like one of those, let's just put something together and give the people, something. And I'll say this much, and I wanted to say it in the last prediction as well. There's we can agree to disagree. That's the beautiful thing about this particular family that we have here. But I think, if nothing else, there's a little bit of a stank, if you will, to this WrestleMania, whether it's deserved or not. It's out there. And if it wasn't out there, Orton and Pat would not have commented on it when they did. It's out there. Okay. Yeah. Whether, again, it's justified or not, it's out there. So with that said, if the writers chose, and I'm assuming they did, that could have been something they decided to do on their own. But it's out there on WWE television.
Right.
So it's up there with the brass. So it's known now that there's a taint to this WrestleMania, deserved or not, that they've got to come with it. Like you said, just Alex, with the previous match, this is something that's got to be setting the stage. I always say to her, the first match has got to set the bar.
Right.
And everybody else has to rise to it. Now, if you want to raise it like The Rock always says, whatever, great. But it's got to set the tone for the show. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting this to follow through. I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
I will say this much. I'm not of this power couple, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. I don't love their in-ring stuff. I don't love it. I'm okay with it. I like it. I don't really love them as in-ring performers. For me, they're just okay. I'm expecting big things from Gunther. I think this match will be fine. But what I do expect, and you're right, I was thinking about this the other day, I do expect some interference. I don't know if it's going to be Braun Breaker or not. It would be great if it is. The issue that I have with it is I don't want this to be something that's going to cause Gunther to lose. Right. Because Gunther will not like that. Gunther, he jackjaws anybody. He'll get in anybody's face. And he said something. He said something to Paul Heyman the other day when they were shaking hands and he pulled him in. Steven, I don't know if you saw that. And that really came to me. I'm like, what is that all about? What's going on there? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They brought back the dreaded Paul Heyman favor.
There's something there. And so it's this one is a little hard for me to predict, because if Braun Breaker does come back and costs, let's just say the ref sees it or what have you, and he does end up costing Gunther the match, can that play into it? Yes. I don't know if I would love that. I would personally love Gunther to win clean. I do not. I'm going to say this much. My prediction for this match is Gunther for the win.
Okay.
I think Gunther is going to win this match.
Okay.
But this one was really, really tough for me, because there were just so many unknown factors, so many little threads that were out there that just did not come to full circle in my mind. So I'm not quite sure what to expect for this match. This one is a little hard for me to predict, but that's what I'm going with.
Okay. How we feeling about it, B? How we feeling about this match? And do you think we're going to get interference?
I mean, Gunther, I don't think anything about this match. We shouldn't be having this match. This is the last match because there's injuries. So Seth is going to lose, but it should somehow tie back into the real feud that he has going on. I agree. Hopefully, Braun will be ready for it to be him. But either way, division should interfere and cost him the match no matter what.
All right, straight to it. How we feeling about this match, Steven?
I'm picking Gunther to win too, but I don't think there's going to be any interference. I think Gunther's just going to take him down. And out of the two of those guys, Seth is far more resilient to a big stage loss right now, I think, than Gunther would be. And to AJ's point about the favor, do you guys remember even on December 14th or 15th, the Monday after Cena's last show, let's all remind ourselves what Gunther's demeanor is like when he beats a big name talent. He becomes an insufferable little middle school boy who gloats about it.
Yeah.
Now, hypothetically, answer me this. Would Gunther be so insufferable that he would gloat in front of a beast who might have lost his match?
Wow.
In front of Paul Heyman, to be like, well, I guess you need to back the right guy and start writing checks that his body can't cash. That's how I would book that match, Alex.
That would be crazy.
Is to light a fire under a beast, to be like, well, I won my match. I don't know what you're doing, losing to a rookie. You know. Anyway, I thought you were supposed to be dangerous. You know, I listen. I know we all felt how we felt about how they managed that last Saturday night's main event, but I have really enjoyed how Gunther has owned the aftermath of that. Like he's just okay, this word means something new in 2026. Go back to the 90s with it. He's such a goon. Like he's just such a punk, you know? Like, I mean, you want to smack him. Like, could you stop trolling us for a minute while we're all still sad, please? Although nobody's going to be nearly as sad about Seth losing as they were about AJ or Cena. But anyway, yeah, I think Gunther takes it. I do think, you know, our favorite second generation Steiner he's in the on deck circle. Like I think he's ready to come back. I wonder if they save it for Raw instead of Mania.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. So I would prefer not to see it in the match, just to give Gunther that much more reason to gloat about it. But you know, either way, I'll enjoy the match.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we go on from that to a match that I'm not gonna lie, I'm not looking forward to. I'm just happy that people have a spot at WrestleMania, and that's the only reason I care about it. And that is the 4-way women's tag team match. We got Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair taking on Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, taking on the champs themselves, the Irresistible Forces, taking on the Bella Twins. B, do me a favor, make this one quick. Who we got winning this match, and how you feel about it?
You know, to be honest with you, I think that the current champs are champs for a reason. They are super strong, super dominant. Big Lash Legend is amazing, and
yeah, she is.
I think her and Nia Jax together, talk about a force that I just don't see any reason to take the belts off of them. I'm just going to say they just leave them where they are. I
Let's
don't
hope
see
they
anybody
do.
else in this matchup that's as dominant as they are.
How you feel about that, eh?
Oh man, you know, this is a tough one. This is a tough one for me. I'll be real brief. I don't know. I don't. Why are the Bella Twins here? Okay, why are they here? All right, and I don't want anybody to mistake what I'm saying here. I'm not
Pioneers.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm not knocking the Bella Twins, but here's the deal. You bring back Nikki Bella after injury. She is looking good, basically, for the most part. There was talk about Brie Bella not being able to make it because her husband's over in AEW, so that was something that didn't look like was going to happen. Now she's here. That's a big deal to me. That's a big deal. These are two ladies that, by all rights, don't need to be here at all, especially Brie. Like, at all. You do not need to be in this. I don't like the idea that they're coming back just because. You don't need to put any of these other ladies that are in this match, you don't need to put them over. This entire women's roster, they're fine. At this juncture, they do not need the old guard putting them over. If you want to talk about NXT, that's different. I'm talking about main roster ladies. You don't need it. You don't need the Bella Twins rub at this point. You just don't. So why are they here? I'm saying they're here to win championship gold. And I'm not saying they're here to hold it for a long time. But other than that, I don't see a point in them being here. If they're going to come out here and they're going to lose, I don't see a point. I don't like the idea of the Irresistible Forces losing the titles. I love Charlotte and Alexa. I think they're fantastic. They don't need the titles. That's been proven to me for weeks now. They're fine as is. As far as Bayley and Lyra go, hey, I like the fact that they're on the same page. Fantastic. I wouldn't mind seeing them as tag team champs. But at this juncture, they don't need it either. I think a mistake is going to happen. I think something's going to occur. I think the Bella Twins, I'm throwing a long pass here. I think the Bella Twins should win this. It'll probably be the Irresistible Forces to retain, but I think the Bella Twins should win it. I know how you feel about this, Just Alex. I understand. But all I'm saying is you brought him back for a reason. And it can't just be to come in here and lose matches. So I say it should be the Bella Twins. But more than likely, the Irresistible Forces will retain.
So back in the day when the divas were divas, there was a certain phrase that we would constantly use when they were on television. What was that phrase? Oh yeah, bathroom break.
Ouch.
I never
but you only had 3 minutes to go to the bathroom on top of it. Like it was a lose-lose.
2-minute match.
A 2-minute match.
Oh,
maybe
man.
even less. What was it? 30 seconds with Paige and all them? Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
I look at this match and I go, why are we wasting our time? The build-up has been, well, not all of them, but a majority of their matches has been DQ finishes, interferences. Same old. And then Nia Jackson, Lash Legend just beats everybody up. That's literally been the build. The only reason I care about this match is because Bayley's on WrestleMania. That's the only reason I care. But I hate this match because I know the outcome. They're going to give those belts to the Bella Twins.
Yeah!
Unfortunately. No, don't clap. No. Let's not clap.
It'll look nice on their podcast, sitting on the table.
Great. Wonderful. But that's the reason why we're doing this match, is to get the belts on the Bellas so they can be pioneers. As Steven said.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. Finish us off, Steven. Who we got winning this?
All right, first of all, I'll die on this hill. This match should have been at the Elimination Chamber, and it should have been an Elimination Chamber match for the tag titles. And we should have had Rhea and Io in there and the Kabuki Warriors in there too, and just let them show up the men. They could have done it.
Hire this guy. They could have done it.
I thought I was being predictable because they had 6 teams feuding with each other for months, and then you're coming up to a PLE where you specialize in 6-person matches. So I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be what they do. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we're doing this instead. God, this is fine. And listen, love the ladies. The ladies singles match was great too. But I was just saying, week after week, come on, give me a tag. You've done a tag title Elimination Chamber match before, but you've never done one for the women except for the inaugural one that Bayley and Sasha won. And like, you can do your history and pioneer stuff and all that stuff in that match. And we get this instead, which is probably not going to run for a long time. This, by the way, in terms of predictions, this will be a fun match for us to watch because we're 3 of us are deviating from each other. I think this match is going to be a sorry we cut you from WrestleMania last year, Bayley. We're going to make it up for you this year. And I think Bayley and Lyra are taking the tag belts. Now, I think they probably hold it for 2 weeks or something and drop it right back to Lash and Nia. I don't think it lasts long. I think they give Bayley a WrestleMania moment as an I'm sorry. Because I do genuinely believe that Hunter loves Bayley. I think he loves all those horsewomen, all his black and gold people that are still there. I think he really does have an affection for them. And I'm, call me a mark, whatever. It's in the name of my channel. You can't hurt my feelings. But like, I think he really does. I think he probably does feel some semblance of I wouldn't say regret, but remorse for hurting Bayley's feelings about that. And
that was messed up.
I don't even think Nia and Lash take the pin in this match either. I think,
Right.
well, if I were doing it, I'd have them beat Alexa or Charlotte because I would start to break up Charlotte and Alexa in this match.
Please break them up.
Just have them, again, miscommunication, have one of them hit the other or something, and you can just start the tension from there. Get to SummerSlam, have a one-on-one match, whatever. But yeah, give me Bayley and Lyra, even if it's just for a hot pocket 2-minute title reign. Giving Bayley the old Martin Scorsese Departed special of sorry we snubbed you in the past. Here's your pity Oscar now. Although The Departed's an excellent film. Just saying, Scorsese should have gotten it like 2 decades before for Goodfellas. Anyways, so yeah.
And here's the thing, just to add to what Steven is saying, Bayley's contract with WWE ends this year. And people are speculating she probably wants to go join her best friend in the other company. Maybe Triple H will give her this moment to make her feel, hey, maybe you want to give us another shot?
I mean, she got to be on TV for more than 3 weeks, though.
Okay, well, then if that's the case, then I'm going to say Nikki Bella pins Bayley for the win there. I said
Wow.
Just kicking her out.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Diva buries a horsewoman. Jeez.
I said it.
Well, speaking of AJ, I need you to open this one, my friend, because it involves your favorite. Speaking of AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is AJ Lee's first WrestleMania match in 11 years. And she's going up against a woman that main evented WrestleMania 35. My friend A, how we feeling about this match and who you got winning?
You all know my feelings for my namesake, AJ Lee. Love the fact that she's back. Honestly did not think she was going to win the title when she did. I was genuinely surprised. Loved it, geeked out either way. I will simply say the man Becky Lynch walks into WrestleMania, not champ, walks out with that belt over her shoulder.
Wow.
It's going to the man, Becky Lynch. She is going to put AJ Lee down in the dirt. There you go.
Well, Becky, who you got winning this? Isn't that ironic? AJ and Becky. Who we got winning this match, B?
I agree that my namesake is going to take it because she has beat her. AJ's beat her every single time. You can't just have her beat her again. And AJ's not really around. I don't know what kind of contract she signed, but she hasn't been around to get into with anybody else. And so I feel like this is going to end this feud. And then we're not going to see AJ. I don't know. She don't seem to really be here for anything and anybody else. So I think she came to do this and whatever. And I think she had the belt for a minute. But I think that Becky's going to get that belt back.
Yeah, you know what, Steven? Think about this for a minute. Like, maybe this is something that could happen. I don't think these two have had a stipulation match yet. They haven't done a last woman standing match. They haven't done a falls count anywhere or anything. And I feel like they could still do that. So maybe that could play into this decision. Like, how are we feeling about this match at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I think Becky Lynch wins too, and AJ takes a vacation. I think we don't see her for a while. That being said, I think you're onto something. I think there could be circumstances that get involved, that are a prelude to say like their final match being a stipulation match at SummerSlam. So you can pretty much say they feuded for a whole year, wink, wink, when they had like 4 matches. And I'll do everybody one better. I think Becky Lynch wins that title, but in the setup to that last match with AJ Lee, whether AJ Lee interferes or not, I think Becky passes the title to an NXT call-up.
Got someone in mind?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I was thinking, I was like, listen, if I was going purely on talent and who I'd want to see be the next champion, I'd say JC Jane, but I don't want to see Becky Lynch versus JC Jane. That's 2 heel versus heel. And it might be, we'll see how quick Sol Ruca gets up there. But Sol and Becky wouldn't be a bad coming out party for Sol on the main roster. even if Soul wins by AJ coming in to interfere or distracting her, which is kind of what happened with Maxine. So that's a little bit of heated nachos, but reheated nachos are good, man.
So here's the thing. Becky Lynch is the odds-on favorite. I'm pretty sure everybody in the live chat is predicting Becky as well. I'm going to be the odd one out. I'm going to surprise y'all. I think AJ wins again. I think this feud continues. I think we get one more match between them at Backlash, which is 3 weeks later. I think that's a stipulation match. What that match is, it could be Last Woman Standing, it could be Street Fight, it could be Falls Count Anywhere. I think Becky wins it there. I feel like we can get one more match out of these two. And I feel like when it comes to AJ Lee having her first match back at WrestleMania, do we want that one to be a loss? Not saying she can't lose, but remember, this woman just came back. We're still trying to establish her as a legend, as the legend that she is. I have a feeling that that's the priority right now, is keeping AJ strong. And what better way to really add more heat to this feud than by having AJ beat Becky on her home turf? Because WrestleMania is her home turf. This is where she gets the wins. I don't think, has she lost a match at WrestleMania? Because I'm thinking she won 35. She did.
Becky?
She actually did lose.
She lost to Bianca.
She lost to
and
Bianca.
that was a phenomenal blow-off match. Those two.
But she's won a majority of her matches at WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think she's
lost.
lost.
Night 1 or night 2?
This is still night 1.
Okay, it's all night 1. Okay.
Yeah. I think AJ beats Becky, and I think she keeps the belt. We push it for 3 more weeks to Backlash. She drops it there to Becky in a stipulation match. That's what I'm predicting. We're gonna see what happens. You got all that, Steven?
Yeah, got you guys locked in.
All right. Final 2 matches of night 1. Now it's getting really good. The Women's World Championship match. Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. Just so we're clear, Liv Morgan will be cleared to wrestle. I know all of us saw that scary spot where she caved in Roxanne's head. That was ridiculous on Raw. And I'm surprised Roxanne is even able to wrestle, because I would have, for sure, after seeing that, I would have thought, oh, she's out, because I was really scared. I will say this too. If this had happened like the week of WrestleMania, this match would have been off. If that collision would have happened on this upcoming Monday Night Raw, they would have been like, nah, sorry, not happening. But luckily, she was able to make a recovery. This is going to be a surpriser. I think not a lot of people are talking about this match, and they should. Liv and Stephanie have been going ham. They've been beating the living hell out of each other for real. And I think they're going to deliver an excellent match. I'm expecting, this is one of those matches I think is going to be one of the show stealers of the weekend, by the way. With that being said, easy dub for Stephanie. I don't think Liv is taking this one. I think the breakup with the Judgment Day is going to continue. I think Raquel Rodriguez has been teasing issues with Liv for a while, because Liv has been making Raquel not look great and hurting her. They've been teasing that going forward. I think this pushes it forward. I think Liv is going to lose this, and that's just going to further break up the Judgment Day. And that's what I'm going with. B, how we feeling about this match? Who you got winning?
You know, it's kind of crazy to think that you would have this match where Stephanie made them, like, she demolished the two of them. Like, I mean, that third head, you know what I mean? Like, it just looked like it needed its own little face to talk to you.
She
like
grew with JD McDonough.
All right.
Jesus.
And to think that she would beat them down so badly, and then you would have Liv lose when it's Liv Morgan. You know what I mean? Like, I think Stephanie is new enough that she could take the L. I'm gonna say Liv for the win. I would have probably said Raquel, but for some reason I feel like that interaction, it just seems too obvious that Raquel is the favorite. She's so dominant. She's so popular. I just want to go against the grain and just say Liv. I'm sure I'll probably be wrong, but I'm just gonna say Liv.
I mean, if you give the belt to Liv, you can do her and Raquel for it. So
Right,
that works.
right, exactly. Because then they're fighting for a title.
That further breaks up the Judgment Day. So it still works. I like that.
Yeah.
How you feeling about this, eh?
Yeah, I hate this match for so many reasons, and not the reasons that you think, because these are two ladies that I really, really, really enjoy watching in the ring. We have seen Liv metamorphosize from the whole Riot Squad stuff to just being a loner here, and we're thinking she will be cut any day now, and she has just morphed into somebody that is a solid player on this roster. I absolutely love the fact, and we talked about this many times, when they carry the feud on screen, off screen, and we see the Twitter wars between these people. I just absolutely love to see that. It just carries it into a different strata of making us, the fans, interested more than we probably were already in this matchup. So coming into this, absolutely. The fact that we saw that, and I did that for the members. We did a quick reaction to that. I even played it in slow motion, and it's even more painful to watch in slow motion.
Oh, man.
That hurt my soul. That's skull on skulls. I talk about it all the time when it comes to headbutts. We used to see it way back in the day. We all know this. Don Morocco, Jimmy Snuka, their foreheads were destroyed.
Yeah.
We used to see it all the time, and I know why they don't do it. I just don't like the fact that they do it now, and they put their hand in front of their head and they do this. It looks terrible. It just looks terrible, and I wish they wouldn't do it. That's how you're gonna do a headbutt, I would just much rather you don't do a headbutt, like you don't want to do chair headshots. Just don't do it anymore. I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
But with that said, the most devastating headbutt unintentional I've ever seen. I mean, Stephanie came in there, bulldozed these ladies, and then threw her into the monitor.
Yeah.
And she barely got her hands up. Her head still hit that monitor. It did. So that basically was adding insult into injury.
Right.
So I love the fact that these two are going at it the way that they're going at it. And I think it's going to be a fire match. With that said, there's still a part of me that also feels that Raquel got screwed by Liv. And we had a nice hot thing going with Liv and Raquel. Raquel was really starting to get into her NXT Gonzalez bag when it came to her and Stephanie. I was really digging it. And then here comes Liv coming back and just pissing all over the game, pardon my language.
Yeah.
And you screwed Raquel. That's what ended up happening. I don't feel like that was forgotten. And I think if you want to really get somewhere with this match that's going to carry some stuff long term, I say Raquel is going to some way, shape, or form screw Liv out of the win in this matchup, and Stephanie will retain. I think the Judgment Day is going to be further dismantled, and I'm fine with that. However, Roxanne plays into that. Rest in peace to the forehead, or whatever you got to do. I don't care. But however that's going to happen with the Judgment Day, fantastic. But I would love to get Liv and Raquel. I would love to get Raquel going back to Stephanie. But in this matchup, this is what needs to happen to keep things hot, to keep things interesting. And that is my prediction.
What was your prediction?
That Raquel is going to cost Liv the match, and Stephanie will retain. Now, how that happens, I cannot accurately say, but it's going to happen, and Stephanie will retain.
Interesting. So 2 for Stephanie, 1 for Liv. Steven, take us home. Who you got winning this match?
Well, low key, I think this could be the show stealer of night one. I think this match got slept on after the Royal Rumble because everybody was in their feelings about WrestleMania, that some of them still are today. And if you haven't been watching these promos that Stephanie and Liv have been cutting, like, AJ, what do I tell you every single time? The most, and I say this with my brother when we do our Mount Rushmore shows, we've been watching a lot of early 1990s WCW, like Road Warriors, Steiner Brothers, Vader, kind of stuff. And we've been talking about a lost art in this business and in this programming, with the way we're shifting away from wrestlers who have wrestled for 10 to 20 years versus athletes who, listen, I love athletes. Bianca Belair was an athlete. There's a lot of great men and women who come from the athlete path that are doing just fine in wrestling. But something you miss is the art of making it look like you're trying to hurt somebody. Because you have this spectrum of, on one end, it just looks like Cirque du Soleil gymnastics, where it's just an insult to your suspension of disbelief. And then on the other hand, you have like early 90s Japanese wrestling cosplayers who just drop each other on their necks for fun, because they saw it on a tape they traded somewhere on the internet. But the sweet spot in the middle is actually working, which means sometimes you walk away with a goose egg, but it's not the norm, right? It's trying to convince the paying customer that you hate this person, and you will not let any dead space or dead air in between you and them. If you actually see them, it is on site. Right. And these two ladies turned up the heat in the past 3 weeks or so, and it has become an on-site feud, which is fantastic. Yep. Wrestling needs more of that energy in its rivalries. And not since Jake the Snake DDT'd Ricky Steamboat on the concrete floor have I heard the crack of a head like that happen. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, for me, not in a Booker T sort of way, don't misunderstand me, but Stephanie has caught a lot of fire with me as a fan recently in the development of this feud. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a little more like violence, a little more aggression from her. And she's got a little bit more of a swagger. And I think part of that is letting her cut promos in her native language. Because she's got a whole different swagger when she's comfortable about that. So all that to say, Liv, I don't want to call Liv a made woman, but she's doing really well. And if it were up to me, if I knew when we were going to get her back, I would keep Stephanie knocking down every woman who they put in front of her until Naomi comes back.
You see it. That's what I think they're going to do.
And so I don't know. One, I don't know if Naomi's coming back. And because if she don't want to, she don't need to. God bless her, and may she have a long and prosperous life.
Absolutely.
But if she does come back, plug that fantastic performer right back in where she left off and be like, I don't remember giving you this belt. Like, it's time for you to give it back.
That's going to be such a great feud.
And take it back from her.
Love it.
So
hell yeah. I love it.
Stephanie. Picking Stephanie.
So that's 3 Stephanie, 1 for Liv. We get to the main event. Now, I'm going to need you guys to give me some room here. I'm going to need to go first on this one because I got a lot to say. Take a deep breath. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and tell the lineup. Me, then Steven, then A and B. Because I have a feeling that what Steven has to say is going to be probably just as controversial. But, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of night 1. We got Cody Rhodes versus Pat McAfee. I mean, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton with Pat McAfee in his corner. This match was so easy to book. 20 years of storytelling. Cody Rhodes' first match in WWE was against Randy Orton. 20 years ago, this was his first opponent. They were in Legacy together. They rode down the road together. So many stories you could have told that we don't even know about. When Cody came back to WWE in 2022, this was the match that they were hoping to see. And although this wasn't the original plan was Drew McIntyre versus Cody, Hell in a Cell, apparently. And they said, I don't know about this. Let's do Randy instead. Okay, whatever. We still got it. Randy Orton turning heel on Cody Rhodes. I don't know why they thought fans were going to boo Randy. Like, 09 Randy is literally the best Randy Orton. And if you were ever going to bring him back, you had to know fans were going to get behind him. And for that short period of time, I was a bit worried where I'm like, ooh, the crowd is not going to get behind Cody if Randy Orton's 09 Orton. Well, WWE, well, let's be real. TKO found a way to make fans stop cheering Randy Orton. Pat McAfee's addition ruined all of this. Point blank. No one asked for Pat McAfee. When they were doing that mystery caller storyline, they literally said, wrestling has more than one royal family. Okay, cool. Maybe it's Ted DiBiase. Okay, maybe it's Shane McMahon. Okay, maybe, oh dear God, it would be nice. It wasn't The Rock, but maybe it's The Rock. We're thinking wrestling family, getting us all excited for somebody to get involved from Orton's past. Could have been his goddamn dad. No. Pat McAfee. Why is Pat McAfee? Why is Pat McAfee in this match? Because Ari Emanuel, his agent, who's also the boss, came out and said, we think Pat McAfee is going to be Hollywood's next Sylvester Stallone. That is a legit quote. He sees Pat McAfee as Hollywood's next Sylvester Stallone. And so he feels like the best time to let people see what a great Hollywood star he is to shove him in our faces in the main event, in a main event that never needed him, that shouldn't have him, and quite frankly, he's taken away from. And you know what? Let's throw Jelly Roll in there too. What are we doing? What is this? And I think it's insulting when people online, and we talked about this in private, come on here and say, hey, you don't like it. It's great heel heat, guys. It's great. No, that is not heel heat. Some of you need to get your wrestling terminology correct. When you don't like something and you want to turn off the goddamn TV show, that's not good heel heat, okay? A heel shot is to make you want to pay them, see them get beat, to elevate the baby faces. When you have someone on television that makes you not even want to watch the show, people have literally been calling SmackDown the worst television product for the last, 3-4 weeks, the past month, since he's been on television? Quite frankly, this reminds me of when Vince McMahon was booking. This is the kind of shit I would expect from Vince McMahon, because it makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. And to have Pat McAfee get on television and say, hey, 25% off for Saturday, fuck Sunday, don't watch night 2. Why is he getting on television burying your own product? He's burying the roster, he's burying SmackDown, and then he buried WrestleMania. Good heel heat. No, it's terrible. It honestly has made me wish Oba and Brock was main event night 1. Because this is garbage. So I'll keep it short and sweet. They already announced that at Backlash, in case you guys didn't know, it's going to be a tag match. It's going to be the celebrities involved with Cody and Randy, which means we're going to have Jelly Roll and Cody versus Pat McAfee and Randy Orton. That pretty much telegraphs where we're going with this. Because Pat said, if Orton wins, I will never be back in WWE. Thanks, Pat. We appreciate that. So guess who's winning this match? Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes loses yet again at WrestleMania. Because why not? Regardless, what a disaster this has been. This was awful. Hopefully they can turn it around with a good match. I have no doubts that they'll try. But Steven, take the ball. I'm pretty sure you have a lot you want to say.
I'm going to run with it. I got some things I want to get off my chest. You're all going to hear about it. All right. So I wrote a litany of notes. But I'll say this. I don't get very conspiracy theory. Yeah. Pat just made the list. So like I don't get into the sort. I don't buy into a lot of the sort of, IWC conspiracy theory stuff. But I'll say this really quickly because this is not fully about, this match, although it is a little bit. I'm starting to believe, and I'm not going to blame The Rock directly, okay? But someone in TKO, and if they're doing this kayfabe, I think this is incredibly lame and cringy. Like, it almost better be real. I feel like there are people in TKO trying to actively sabotage Cody Rhodes.
Yes, me too.
They have been trying to actively sabotage him ever since WrestleMania 39. Wow. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay with the fact that he lost to Roman that first time because it made 40. It was a very Infinity War Endgame thing, like
exactly
that loss made the win that much better and all the cameos in the 40 match. But whether this was Dwayne's doing or Dwayne doing the bidding of someone telling him to do it. I'm trying to make peace with the fact that I don't want to blame The Rock for all my problems with wrestling anymore. It's just unhealthy for me to do. But he is involved in some of these things. And The Rock became the lead heel of the WrestleMania 40 feud. The Rock pinned Cody Rhodes clean on night 1 of WrestleMania. The Rock got his comeuppance at the end of the match in WrestleMania 40, but from who? From who? Oh, the limping Undertaker. After putting Cody's blood on a belt that had his mama's name on it.
Ooh,
Mama Rhodes.
Mama Rhodes.
And then we get a tease from The Rock the next night that has a lingering threat to Cody, who's now the champion.
Yeah.
That makes us think for a year, ooh, we might get a Cody Rock match. And I jumped on that train. I'm like, okay, because every story is worth it if a great heel gets their comeuppance in the end. Because wrestling at the end of the day is a story of good versus evil. Now, it's a story that never stops, but if you're going to have a good villain, then that villain has to lose eventually. And they need to lose to the hero. And Cody is the hero, whether some of y'all like it or not. I'm sorry if you didn't choose him as your hero, but he is the hero. Now, he won't be the hero forever, but he is the hero right now. So log off of Twitter and actually listen to the crowd when he comes out, except on WrestleManias, which I'll get to in a second. Now, Rock then, drags all of us along on a ride that goes nowhere. The next time we really see him talk is on the January Netflix debut, where he buddies Cody and even says casually, "Say hi to Mama Rhodes for me." Like, he just got punked out on the Netflix. The world champion got punked out by an untouchable legend who will not take a beating except from other legends his own age.
Right.
It makes your champion look weak. And Cody started looking weak from that point on. And I don't know how much input or ability Cody had to fight it. They made Cody look strong until Cena kicked him in the balls in that segment, And then the Cody Cena thing is what we're seeing now before Pat McAfee came in, which is that the WWE crowds do not want to boo a legend. They don't want to boo a legend. They will boo Cody, who they don't boo. They don't boo Cody when he's up against anybody else.
Right.
Unless it's someone who is transcendent, who is at that Rock level, who it is at that Cena level, who is at that Randy level. Randy might still be an active competitor, but he's already chiseled in granite on the Mount Rushmore of non-booable wrestlers now.
Right.
Which is why they one shouldn't have paired him with Cody. I mean, they could have had that feud at some point. I still think that all the story is there, but you could not have expected the crowd to boo Randy in that scenario. And shame on them for thinking they could get away with it when they didn't learn their lesson last year with Cena. And so better you to just do a babyface versus babyface thing. You can still do the 20-year student and master thing. You don't have to have a heel if you're intent on doing that match, right? So anyway, all that to say, that's my preview, and I will try to go fast, Alex. I'm sorry, you run a great show.
I love it.
There's just a lot to say about this whole thing.
Please.
So they have failed. They are failing Cody, and God bless Cody for being so over that he has not been ruined yet in the eyes of the casual fans and in the eyes of the ticket paying fans, the people who still pay those prices. Like, they all still love Cody. They still wear the coat. They still dress up like him in the front row. So like, that is, I won't go so far as to say that's God's grace, but it is an act of grace that he has not been ruined yet. And all this. So I want to say this about Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee is a good heel. He's just in the wrong place. Neither he nor Jelly Roll have the juice, have the motion to deserve to be involved in the WWE title match at WrestleMania. And that was what I was going back talking about to 1984 Mr. T, talking about Mike Tyson at WrestleMania 14, Floyd Mayweather at WrestleMania 24, which wasn't a title match, but he was a co-main event with the Big Show. Like, neither of those guys have that kind of juice. Bad Bunny, listen, and I like Bad Bunny. I'm not putting him in league with Jelly Roll, okay? But he was the most streamed artist in the world, and there were still a lot of us fans who didn't know him until he came into WWE. And that's just an indictment on what it means to be famous in 2026. Okay. I'm not saying Bad Bunny's not relevant. He is. I mean, he totally is. He's only gotten larger since wrestling fans, and I'm not giving credit to wrestling fans, but he's only gotten more famous, right? So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But neither Pat nor Jelly Roll are worthy of being in this position. Pat sold me more on a feud with CM Punk than he did with Cody Rhodes. I want to see Pat and CM Punk in the same ring together, not in a match, but I far more want to see that promo now than anything Pat has to do with Cody. Because when I dropped in to SmackDown on Friday and I heard what he had to say about Punk first, I'm like, you have my attention, dude.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then, and so, but now here's the bad about McAfee, which is a lot of the obvious. He's very Vince Russo-ish in the things he says, which is not a compliment, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not good.
It's not a good thing. Listen, in 2000 WCW, both Scott Steiner and Hulk Hogan on different occasions looked dead in the camera and said, this is why the company sucks. And you're telling your paying crowd the company sucks. Will Ospreay said that about AEW last year. And you think you're getting over on another talent by telling everyone who is sacrificing their time and money to see you that what they're paying for is worthless. And that's just dumb salesmanship. And so the Scott Steiner and Hulk Hogan had a hand in the death of WCW with that. Now, I'm not blaming them individually. I'm blaming Russo for that, because Russo was like all like leaning into internet speak and like insider stuff, never taking into account that's like the tiniest piece of the pie chart of wrestling fans, whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not. We are not the needle movers. We might be the loudest wheel on the grocery cart, but we're not the biggest one. And so anyway, Pat appealing to internet terms in the audience is cringy garbage. And at the end of the day, it made me really, really mad that Pat McAfee said he'd never show up on WWE television again if Cody won, because you just telegraphed something. Because Pat's not never going to show up again. Like, if he just hadn't said that, I might not have said half the stuff I just said. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now I'm convinced Orton's going to win. And I do think, I think we might get like this is a super dated reference, so I hope AJ at least gets it with me.
Oh,
I feel like we might be headed for a challenge of the Super Friends, kind of like massive faction war with TKO chosen people. And real wrestlers, which again, in an internet message board, that sounds like a good idea, but on TV, it doesn't work that way.
God.
But I'm very scared for it, and I'm going to save my last analogy about that for our last match. But
your prediction.
I'm picking nuts. I'm picking Orton.
Okay, before we go to A and B, let's give some respect to the world champ himself. Three Diggers with the massive $50 donation. He says, replace Liv with Raquel last minute because of her quote-unquote concussion. Raquel versus Vaquer for the world title. Raquel wins clean, and then continue a storyline with Liv showing fake love to Raquel and eventually turning on Raquel for taking her moment. Hey, maybe you should book WWE Three Diglets. How about that?
That protects a champion too if they're not prepared for their new opponent.
That is true. He follows it up with a $10 donation. Triple K is a jobber, and Cody is mid. You know what ruined this main event regardless of the winner? The celeb aspect. Get packed up FCK out of there, please. Keep the celebs on the undercard. The champ has spoken. Thank you, Three Diggers, for those donations. A and B, we said a lot. But I'm curious, from your perspective, I'll start with you, B. Honest reaction to everything with Pat McAfee coming in, taking over this main event, and turning this into something that we all didn't want. How we feeling about this and who you got winning?
Well, first I want to say that even though what Pat McAfee did was cringe, I know this may be unpopular, especially with you, just Alex. I think CM Punk was cringe first. I feel like that wasn't just a pipe bomb to try to. I think he did too much to try to out pipe bomb himself, and he went too far, and he just sounded like a mad kid who was just throwing a tantrum to me, and he was ragging on the product first.
Right.
And so I don't want to just bypass that, whatever you want to say, like sidestep it. I didn't like his promo, not just because he was hating on Roman, but because I didn't think it was clever. I just didn't. I've heard him have clever promos. I thought him and MJF's promo war was awesome. I just didn't think this one was. So I think he started it with the whole trying to do the pipe bomb now. You want to come back once again, kiss at, like, you're doing a pipe bomb mad that Roman was pushed, but you're champion right now again. So clearly you were pushed, and your wife is champion, so she was pushed. So the hell are you talking about? So I just think that was stupid. But then you go back to Pat McAfee, and it was cringy, and it wasn't well thought through. And I have always liked him, but he does not make sense here. And so, Jelly Roll coming in makes sense because Pat's there. Pat don't belong there, so Jelly Roll coming in was okay with me because Pat didn't belong there in the first place. So you already have one celebrity that don't belong there. We're not bringing another one. And I like Jelly Roll more than Pat McAfee because I feel like Jelly Roll, how much weight did he lose? Like a whole person more than what I weighed in the first place, because he loves his business that much and he wanted to take the matches seriously. And he worked that hard for some he didn't need to do. Talk about not needing to be here. Right. So I didn't mind. I'm surprised they don't have him standing behind Cody when you have Pat in this corner. Jelly Roll is going to be in that corner. So it's interesting that he isn't even on the card. But because he said what he said, it would be weird not to have Randy Orton win. And then how do you do that? So, but that doesn't mean that needs to be set in stone either. That could also go back to Pat McAfee being a liar or being whatever, because when you're a heel, you don't have to stick by your word necessarily. But I always thought they were going to give Randy the win, which is why I thought it was going to be against Drew. I thought it's weird to give Cody the title again just to take it from him. But I still feel like it's going to be Randy as well. So I'm going to stick with y'all with that, with the RKO, with him winning. But I also wouldn't put it past Triple H to be like, well, since you said that now, we can't let that happen because it's too predictable. So
please, that means Pat doesn't have to be there anymore. Yeah, he gets to go. For real. Jesus Christ.
Well, not necessarily. Like I said, a heel doesn't have to stay by his word. We've had people tell us they were retiring and come back next year. So, but I guess I'll stick with Randy. I do think that they booked him so he could get one more win because he is going to probably be the next to retire, but I don't know. I'll just go with Randy just to go with him.
One thing that is coming out of this, Robert Nogales with the $2 donation says, TKO would force me versus 3 Diglets to make Alex's WrestleMania better. Okay.
Oh, man.
Hey, y'all come with it. I'm here, man. I love it. Take us home, A. You've heard what we had to say. This is being panned across the board as an awful, in terms of the build, an awful WrestleMania main event. But how do you feel about it, and who you got winning?
All right. Well, first off, I need to get my chapstick for this one.
Here we go.
All right. I gotta moisten those lips.
Stretching.
This is some bull.
Okay.
This is some bull. All right. I would cuss up a storm, but you already know how we get down. This is some bull. I have no issues with Pat McAfee, generally speaking. Okay. This is kin to, and I'm going to go with, because he has nothing to do with this except for how he cursed IShowSpeed. but this is kin to what we were led to. And I kind of talked about this. Maybe we made more of it than we probably should have. But when you debut Danhausen, we collectively can say we generally like Danhausen. I find him very entertaining. But we were expecting something else with that debut. Okay. So because of that, it was a bit of a you let the air out of the room kind of a thing. When you say, and I like what Steven is saying, you use the term celebrity. We're going to use that kind of loosely because collectively we're all celebrities. If that's the case, we all. And it's not to say that we're not big in our own right. Okay, but there is a difference. There is a difference between Cyndi Lauper, like you said, Steven, who was a worldwide talent, and Roddy Piper kicking arguably the biggest female talent in the world. And that happened. And you got people in their feelings. When you have somebody like Hulk Hogan leg dropping the Macho Man and people throwing trash into the ring, there's a difference. There's a difference between yesteryear and today.
There's a difference.
With that said, this is not to say that Pat isn't big in his own way, but it's not quite what I was expecting for this. And it also shifted the focus on what should have been, because what we're talking about right now, and I love how Jelly Roll is all in on I love somebody who's outside the business, who loves the business, who wants to get involved in it and treats it seriously. I love Jelly Roll for that. But there's something inherently wrong when you have two tenured WWE superstars, that being Orton and Rhodes, and that in and of itself is not good enough. Right. It's not good enough for this match. There's something inherently wrong here. And so you've got to involve Jelly Roll, you've got to involve Pat McAfee, and what has happened with that is that it shifted the focus of where it needs to be. So I have issues with that. I don't know how much of Pat's promo was written, how much was off the cuff, but it was a hot mess either way. It was an absolute hot mess. It did nothing for my interest in this match in any way, shape, or form. I'm disappointed to see how things have changed and how the focus on what should just be Orton and him hearing the voices and him being who he was, the Legend Killer. The Legend Killer was somebody that was at one time feared in the WWE, and nobody seems to be scared of the Legend Killer anymore. No one seems to be concerned that you've got to bring in Pat McAfee. You got to bring in Jelly Roll. It doesn't make any sense. I don't care for it. I think it's unnecessary. So I think it weakens the position of these two gentlemen. And like Steven said, I do kind of feel like there might be some forces at work here against Cody Rhodes, which is odd. But when you got into bed with TKO, things changed. And it just is what it is. Now, where that goes from here, I don't know. My prediction for this match will be a 15-time world champion, that being Randy Orton. He will, in fact, get the belt. And rightfully so. I said this when he came back, and I've doubled down on it ever since. He did not come back just to play tiddlywinks. He didn't come back to slap hands, kiss babies, and have a good time. It looked like he was having fun for a while. And I said this before, and I'll end it with this. There's a couple of actresses that I really like, Meryl Streep and Halle Berry. And they're very good actresses. Their older stuff, and I don't know how to explain this in a way that people who don't really follow their career might understand, but their older stuff, they were very good technique-wise as far as the acting of it went. But with it wasn't until I saw Halle Berry in Jungle Fever, and it wasn't until I saw Meryl Streep in what was it? The Death Becomes Her, where they actually looked like they were having fun at what they were doing. They were good in their craft, but it finally looked like they were just, you know what? I'm tired of being so serious. Let me just put my hair down. Let me just have a little bit of fun. And it showed. There was a difference. I could see it. There was a weight that was lifted. And I felt that with Orton coming back. There was a weight that was lifted off of him. He was still doing what he was doing, but he was having a little bit of fun, and I enjoyed that. And I think him turning the way that he did, for me, made the most sense because he enjoyed what he was doing, but the voices in his head were really telling him, wait a minute, this is not really who you are. You're a legend killer. You're a punt kicker. And that should have been good enough. And it wasn't. The fact that you decided to take the belt off of Drew and put it back on Cody should have been good enough. And it wasn't. And that's a problem for this match.
Yeah.
And it's weakened this match.
Mhm.
And that's
Can I ask a question before we move on real quick? Do you guys think Randy could have got, let's say Pat never got added to this equation, Jelly Roll never got added to this equation. Do you think Randy could have actually gotten real heat if they let him attack Brandy?
Oh, yeah.
Always attacking, and he's got a history of attacking females.
Because
so.
when they brought Stephanie out to warn Cody, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, he put hands on her. And that's
Why
what
didn't
sold
they go
me
there?
for his match with Triple H?
Right.
And so I don't know. Maybe Brandy wasn't down with it. I mean, I don't know. But I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like,
been down with it.
Yeah, I mean, she's a pro.
You're right.
It's not
she called out Stephanie anyway, so I totally think it would have made sense to bring Brandy out there, and yes, to have him RKO Randy. Brandy would have been. I think that would have been the only way probably to get people to be like. But then again, these days people probably wouldn't care.
Well, we see him do it all the time. We see the family at ringside. There's no better way to draw in an audience than to see the family over there, like the son. Like we've seen Dom since he was this big, and you draw them in. There's no better way to draw an audience in than when you've got somebody so unhinged that you have the nerve to go over to somebody's wife and actually lay a little bit of get a little physical. You know, I mean,
have a RKO the sister and the
people
mom
that
too.
are involved in the industry, that could have worked so much better.
When Dom did that with his own sister and his mom, remember when that had Ray come charging down? It's like, that's it. It's you go pick a switch, son, because we're going back. We're going back to your kid days. You're getting this whooping that I'm giving you, and like that was Ray's breaking point, and the crowd ate for that because they were still enjoying whatever Dom was giving them. You know,
absolutely
right.
Should have happened.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, and now it's too late. It's too late. They're not going to do that now. They're not going to do that on
sure.
They're just not. So that's my whole point. That's why I get so frustrated when I see Unreal and I see that you've been planning stuff months in advance. I wouldn't be so upset if you didn't show that to us, but you did. You're showing me that you've got this stuff planned. You've got a room full of people sitting at a giant table, putting pen to paper, jotting this out, and this is the best we can get. And that's why I said earlier on, as old as WWE is, and as much money, as much creative, as many resources as they have, you've got Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee coming out here. We got Jelly Roll being dragged out, Pat McAfee cutting a half-ass promo that just did not make any sense. That is what you're telling me is the coup de grace for a main event night one? That's insane. That's insane. And I have a problem with that. And that's why we collectively, we're going out there, but we're not paying money to see that. We're going to do our watch along. That's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. This is I've said this many, many times. You got a relay race. You've got your first person has got to start it off, but that leg, that final run, you got to bring this crap home, man. Yeah. And everything leading up to that has got to be like, all right, let's go. We got something. And this lead up that we saw just made no logical sense. And it just pisses me off as a fan that you're telling us this is the best that we're doing you, and we're throwing you a solid with 25% off night one. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just step on? I'll just jump on Steven's thing. Can you imagine if he did that and then came out wearing a shirt that showed him RKO and Brandy, and that was the merch that he's wearing? Oh,
yeah, like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with the tombstone. I mean, that's my. I can't even fit that shirt. That's one of my favorite shirts. Okay, you tombstone his wife, and she's just laying out. Like, dude, you telling me that wouldn't have drawn people in to watch this? That would have got Cody out of his freaking.
This could have been so much better, man. You did not need Pat McAfee. And you're absolutely right. I am shocked they didn't get Brandy. And you know Brandy would have happily taken that RKO.
For sure.
Yeah, probably taking a
Okay,
punt. You never know.
I'll simply say this much. Let me get this. This was AEW. I know this is WWE, but it's AEW. Who told you it was open mic night? We all heard it. Okay, that should have happened. But all right.
Three Diglets dropping $28 saying Orton should have brought DiBiase in. Even if it was just for one night. It was a one-night thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was found not guilty on all 13 federal charges relating to his case. So why not have him at WrestleMania? Give me what I want, Triple Nose. He ain't feeling them. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes night one. I'm not going to lie, that's probably the weaker of the two. When we get to night two, and again, assuming they add Asuka and Io, this is where WrestleMania really begins. And ladies and gentlemen, what better way to kick it off than with the opening match, and it is official. The opening match of night two is Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. The best built match of the entire weekend. And all they had them do was have Oba go out there and manhandle Brock. Electric. Crazy moment on Raw. Viral. Everything. Michael Cole cussing up a storm to really put it over. The only match so far for me that feels like WrestleMania, it can only go one way. Oba has to win. Oba goes over Brock, and he goes over decisively. Now, let me tell y'all something. Here's a fact y'all don't know. For the most part, other than maybe a couple of matches with Roman, Brock's matches don't go long at WrestleMania.
Right.
The longest match he had outside of his matches with Roman was a 5-minute match against Goldberg.
We had that Kurt Angle match too, where he broke his neck.
Oh yeah,
that was the only one.
Yeah,
but that's the outlier though. You're still right.
Yeah,
you're still right. That's the outlier.
Most of his matches though are very, very short. I expect this one to be the shortest. I think Oba's gonna go in there. I think he's gonna make Brock his biatch. He's gonna pin him 1, 2, 3. Paul Heyman comes in the ring, shakes his head at Brock, walks away, and leaves him to slaughter for Gunther at SummerSlam. That's what we're going to get. I think Brock is going to retire this year. I think Brock is setting himself up to lose to two major superstars. One of them is Oba. I will be very disappointed if Brock beats him here, because they could have Brock win here and then do the rematch at SummerSlam and then have Oba get his win back. No, don't do that. Oba needs a win. And I think that's what they're going to do. I think Oba goes over strong. Then the question comes, okay, what do you do with him after that? Make Oba champion. I don't care. Because if you beat Brock and not even beat him, but you dominate Brock, you have to give him the world title. It's not even a question of if. No, you have to give him the world title. Cool.
Absolutely.
So, yes, this needs to be Oba's dominant introduction into WWE by going over Brock, and Brock would happily do it for him. Brock will probably get one F5 on him, and then Oba will pop up like it didn't hurt him. I think Oba goes over very easily. But, Steven, that's just my opinion. How are we feeling about this match? Who you got winning?
Okay, I said earlier, the magic of pro wrestling is two people convincing you they want to hurt each other. Yeah. This has been the only match from the jump that has never made me doubt that one bit.
Yep.
I know, and I'm not even interested in trying to convince anybody to feel differently about Brock Lesnar if he's not your cup of tea. But one thing I'll always tip my hat to as a pro wrestler is he absolutely 100% unequivocally knows how to get someone over. If he's convinced to do that, if he's, paid enough, or if he sees, no pun intended, sees the vision, with somebody, he can make someone look like $1 million. And he can do it from anybody from Oba Femi to Rey Mysterio, make you believe just for a minute. And what I want to see, and I'm going to say a little bit extra here because I keep tipping my hand towards the entire show. I want to see a Brock Goldberg WrestleMania 33 style match where they were wrestling each other like it was a 2K video game, and they started the match with 3 finishers stored each. Like nothing but heavy bombs thrown back and forth. It doesn't need to go longer than 8 minutes. And if that, maybe 8 minutes, including entrances. I don't know. I do want to see it last longer than that Survivor, than the 88-second Goldberg match. Like,
fair.
Brock has been so giving in this feud. He needs to get some offense in on Oba. I'm sorry.
Get F5 in.
You give him an F5, maybe a German suplex. He said something, and he can do the whole Road Warrior Hawk stand up with the giant neck, no selling it, whatever. It's fine. At least make Brock look like a threat for a second in this match. But yes, Oba decisively needs to win this match. I think Gunther beats Seth, and I think Gunther needs to gloat in Brock's face about it. And you can keep Brock exactly how he is, or you could try to babyface him up a little bit going into SummerSlam and give us Gunther versus Brock. But you know what's interesting is that 24, man, we're almost on 25 years.
Yeah.
24 years ago, there was a hot rookie monster who tore his way through tag teams, through mid-card talent, made a big impression, and he beat a Samoan at SummerSlam for the world title. That man's name was Brock Lesnar in 2002, and he beat The Rock. I think it's okay to do a reboot every once in a while, and Oba Femi should have the 2002 of Brock Lesnar this year. And I think he makes an example, and I know this is going to put me on some people's sides. I think he makes an example out of the Tribal Chief at SummerSlam.
Wow. All the way. Go all the way with Oba.
Yeah,
Takes
well, you said put the world title on him.
And then have
So
him
who's he
beat
gonna
Roman.
who's he gonna do it to?
I love it.
Oh my!
I love it. A and B. That was a
Top of the
bombshell.
ears of the Tribal Chief.
Sorry, I should have said earmuffs first. I apologize.
You know what you should have said is trigger warning
My bad.
before saying
That's crazy. That's great. A and B.
I'm-
I guess we'll start with A. My man. Big match. Oba versus Brock. How you feeling about it? Who you got winning?
This is the match I'm most looking forward to. I know every match is going to be fine, but this has just been so exciting to see. And like Steven had literally started off saying, with a tear in his eye, because he lifted this man up, put him down, was Jack John, and we all saw that tear off of Oba. I mean, that just said everything. So that said so much. That was a thank you, Brock. That was the energy of what happened there just sent chill. I'm literally getting those Rock goosebumps right now as I'm even talking about it. Bigger than that, here's the other thing I want to say. First off, it's going to be Oba Femi all day. And I'll simply say this and I'll end it. There has been some chatter in the wrestling community, I think we've all heard it, about the race car. And when it comes to Triple H, we've seen some stuff with him in the past, with DX and stuff and all that business. And we've obviously seen stuff happen with Brock as far as beating certain talent, like what happened with Kofi Kingston beating him in like 8 seconds. Okay. I think this, as Steven said earlier on, this is the comeuppance in some ways. So we've got, I'm going to say it because I can say it. We got a big, dark black man coming in here, beating somebody that has been said to be beating black talent, and that Triple H may or may not have an issue with black talent. We've heard it. Whether or not it's true, I'm not here to say, but we've all heard it. I think this is shutting some of that down. I think this is playing to that race card a little bit, that you have somebody who is as big as Brock, as bad as Brock, as strong as Brock, beating Brock, that happens to look the opposite of Brock, that looks very, very similar, not necessarily in size, but you know what I'm saying,
right?
To other talent that Brock has beaten. And I think this is, like you had said earlier about Bailey, saying, sorry, Bailey, for last year. Let me make it up to you this year. I think that's what this is going to be.
Wow.
Ultimately.
Wow.
And that's something else that I'm really, really anxious to see how this plays out. If it goes the way that I think it's going to go. I don't think that this needs to be a long match, but like I said at the beginning of the show, the first match needs to set the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect big things. I don't know if we're going to get a ring break. That would be freaking amazing. It would be amazing if if there's some way, somehow, from the second rope, he's got Brock up and he just, and the ring brought, I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way,
it
would be amazing. But either way, what I would love to see at the end of this is a furious Brock, somebody that did get beat in quick fashion, but just live it and just it's not you're letting to us like King Kong Godzilla, like this ain't over quite yet, I can see that happening. It's got to end. Michael Cole flipping out on the mic, security, both GMs. Like it just has to be something so like, oh my gosh, we got to catch our breath from what just happened in this match and post match, and then we go into the next match. That is how you send us into.
Man, love to see it. B, take us home.
No lies detected. I can't even really add to it. I just don't know how any other matchup after that is going to live up to it. If it's what all of us think it's going to be,
It's going to be a high bar.
Follower.
Yes.
Good luck. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were a genius in making the ladder match follow that match, because if any match can visually reset your palate, it's going to have to be that one, right?
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Makes sense.
By the way, who you got winning, B? Oba?
Yeah, Oba, absolutely. Oh my gosh, if they botched Oba like that, oh my gosh, I think people would riot. Triple H would never recover from that. He would for sure be called Triple K. for sure.
I genuinely don't know anybody, and you can always find some contrarian on the internet. I don't know anyone who genuinely, earnestly is rooting for and hoping and thinking Brock should win this match, which is rare. You always get some polarizing stuff, but yeah, if they don't this, it is okay to be predictable sometimes. sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice.
Absolutely.
Because my fear is if it doesn't happen, much like what happened when John Cena. Yeah. We all heard that crowd when Triple H and company came out, and that crowd did not let up. If it didn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised if this crowd started saying Triple K. I wouldn't be surprised. We've heard the takeover before.
Right.
Well, with it being the first match and being on ESPN Prime, do you want to lose that whole crowd on ESPN and lose that whole crowd for the rest of the night? Because you said it's going to set the bar. So if they fumble that could taint every other match the rest of the night. Kind of like the whole Daniel Bryan 2015 Royal Rumble stuff.
Oh man,
they better get it right. If they're putting it on first, they better get it right.
You will literally nuke the entire show if Brock just beats Oba. That would be a mistake. So I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I also agree this ladder match following it was the best choice. This is gonna be insane. JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, Penta, Javon Evans, Rusev, and the latest addition, Rey Mysterio. 6-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. We got 3 luchadors, and then we got Javon Evans. This is going to be absolutely insane. If you love the TLC match from, TLC 2 from WrestleMania 17. If you love any of the ladder matches, this includes Money in the Bank matches from WrestleMania. This is going to be that wild, in your face, balls to the wall spot fest. And you know what? This has the potential to be the best match of night too. Not saying Oba versus Brock isn't going to be like the one people aren't looking forward to, but we know what kind of match that is. And that's okay for it to be that match. In terms of a legit match, good luck following this one. This is going to be insane. Now, here, believe it or not, Penta is the odds-on favorite. Clear. He's clearly the odds-on favorite to win this, and he should win this. For me, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a side of me that thinks they might put the bet on Javon Evans, which would be great, by the way. He won't have a long run with it, but y'all see they really like this kid. You see that he's very popular, and you know WWE has every intention of making him a multiple-time champion in the future. What a way to establish him by giving him his first championship win at the age of 21 at WrestleMania. I would love it. I think that would be great. I'm going to be safe, though. I'm going to play it safe and say Penta. But Javon Evans is a hot second. A and B, we'll go to you. A, how we feeling about this match and who you got winning?
I'm excited for this match. I love a good ladder match, and I love everybody that's in this match except for Rusev. Rusev just feels like the odd man that just kind of got stuck in this at the last minute. So I don't. You know, I've said this many times. I don't really care where anybody lands so long as they're used properly. I'm not quite sure still to this day what's going on with Rusev. Miro just didn't pop off like he wanted it to in AEW, and I don't feel like Rusev's second foray into this is popping off the way that it should have, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's a lack of Lana or what, but I feel Rusev is directionless. He doesn't feel like he's the heaviest, biggest competitor in this thing. He just doesn't feel like he fits into this ladder match. So he's an easy no. And again, I have nothing against Rusev. I like him, but he's an absolute no. I love the addition of Rey Mysterio in this. I love the fact that they showed some love. It's like, okay, well, let's get it on. Let the best luchador, the best person win. The fact that he's still Rey Mysterio, being of the age that he is, the experience that he is, has decided to enter himself into a ladder match at WrestleMania. Yeah. You don't need that work, son. you don't need that hurt.
Right.
You don't need that ice bath. But apparently he wants to get down with the get down. And this is what I'm talking about having somebody in here that is giving the rub to somebody, like you said, a young 21-year-old Javon Evans is in this, giving the rub to some of the younger talent. This is what I'm talking about that I would like to see. This makes sense. That other match with the Bellas and whatnot, that doesn't make sense. But this makes sense to see the vet in here getting down with the get down.
Right.
I think more than anything, this match is going to be, like you said, Stephen, this is going to be a fantastic second match of the night. This is the way that it should be. But my prediction is going to be Penta to retain.
That's 2 for Penta. B, how we feeling about the match?
It's interesting because I know I'm probably not going to be most popular, but I disagree with Rey Mysterio being in this. I don't, like you said, of his age to be in a ladder match. You just came out of nowhere. You know.
I get that.
It would have been one thing with Gunther retiring him, but I don't know. He is the one who doesn't make sense, and they got to do something with Rusev. They don't know what they're doing with him. So I feel like Rusev needs to have a strong showing to remind people who he is.
Right.
But I mean, why not have like Alistair in here instead of Ray? You don't know what you're doing with him either. Mm-hmm. Or why don't you have Joe Hendry or somebody that you got a good pop last year? You know, trying to bring an NXT or in here like you was doing with Javon before. I just feel like Ray is the one who should not be in this match. Ultimately, going back and forth between Penta and Javon. I am gonna go for Javon. I'm gonna go for, even though I'm a huge fan of Penta, and I would love to see Penta get the win. They've been bringing Javon in for everything all the time, and then got him so close. Why not give him a win? You know.
Okay. I like that. Steven, how we feeling about this match? Who you got winning?
Okay. Well, yeah, it's going to be a fun match. This is just going to be fun. And I almost feel dirty calling it fun because these men are going to be hurt after this match is over. So I don't want to trivialize it. But if I may trivialize it a little bit, B has a point. I believe Ray is only in this match as a TKO hire to say, oh, this match is going to be on ESPN. Let's put a wrestler that a lot of casual fans remember. So like, hey, watch Rey Mysterio. He's still with us. And he's in the part of this ladder match. You like ladder matches, right? And I think it's harmless. I'm not mad at it since there's like 6 dudes in the match. And I honestly believe Penta and Javon are the only viable potential winners anyways. It didn't matter who that was going to be. So you might as well put somebody who, who's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer in the match. So you can convince yourself that you're selling a few more tickets or views by adding him to that match. And that's harmless to me. Now about Javon, one thing I'm so if we hadn't been in the thick of it for as long as we have in the show, I could have gotten emotional in a good way about saying this. Live streaming NXT every week for over a year now.
Yeah.
Getting to see what I have coined but not trademarked, the holy trinity of black excellence from NXT. Oba Femi, Trick Williams, and Javon all getting called up at the same time.
Love it.
And seeing all 3 of them in featured spots on WrestleMania within the first 4 months of their arrival. Do not ignore that.
That's huge.
Do not ignore that. Because and I'm not throwing shade because I don't think it's fair. I think it's just the way the chips fall sometimes. Mello and Dragunov aren't getting that love. That should and instead of being mad about Mello and Dragunov, put your eyes on the holy trinity of black excellence and see what value they have to creative to be put in the 3 spots they have been put in.
True.
Oba might be getting ready to dog walk the most dominant wrestler they've had in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Trick Williams might be getting ready to win a title in his first WrestleMania match. And Javon is in the Spot Fest match. And here's the thing about Javon, though, who I think is amazing. And he's got the heart. He's got the heart and the mindset and the approach of all of the favorite wrestlers I had growing up. Your Ricky Steamboats, your Rock and Roll Expresses, your black and gold NXT Johnny Garganos, like your underdogs, even Sami Zayn when he was in black and gold.
Right.
Your underdog guys who never lost a drop of pop and always felt like they were just never going to win the big one. And for all of his time in NXT and AAA and TNA, Javon held 0 belts. He never got over that. He never got over that hump. So I feel like they know what they have in Javon, in that he's a guy that God will stick with if they keep him losing a little bit longer, of almost getting there, but not quite. Now, listen, I would be overjoyed if Javon won, because if Javon does win this match, I will be 3 for 3 in my 2026 predictions this year come WrestleMania, which I was 0 for 5. So I was 0 for 5 last year. Well, I'm definitely never gonna go 5 for 5 this year, because one of my predictions was AJ Styles versus Leon Slater happening. I had no idea AJ Styles would be wrapping it up in January. So what are you gonna do? But if I can get that and get Chelsea Green healthy enough for Money in the Bank, I'm going to be living large in predictions this year. But nevertheless, I'm picking Penta. I mean, I just think it's safe. I do think I don't want to go so far as to say obvious. And also I want to give Rusev a little bit of love for being in the match, because every and it's not about Rusev specifically, but when you're booking a really competent ladder match, like go to the original Money in the Bank matches, the ones that were still happening at WrestleMania, even the TLCs. You need a heavy in that match.
You do.
To balance things out, because like Kane was in the first Money in the Bank match. Mark Henry was in a Money in the Bank match.
That's true.
You had Sheamus. The Dudleys. The Dudleys were not the Hardys. They were a little chunky. Like you need someone with a little bit of thickness. You need a thick boy in that match to make sure things stay grounded. And so I feel like that's probably one of the reasons Rusev was chosen for it. Maybe you could have gone with somebody else, but you know what? Good for Rusev getting a Mania spot. I don't have any, and unless they do some weird WrestleMania 32 Zack Ryder thing and just go out of nowhere and pick a winner of the IC title ladder match, I feel like Penta, I feel like it's Penta's to win. But, and also, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Was it Penta who got scratched off Mania last year and they replaced him with Phoenix, or was that somebody else? That Americano, faced Phoenix, right? But Phoenix was
Mysterio?
Or was it Ray? It might have been Ray.
Mysterio.
Okay, I couldn't remember. And maybe that's why Ray is back in the match too. Is sorry you missed it last year. Kind of thing.
They also could have brought Ray.
Oh, that's right, because Penta was in the 4-way. He was in the IC title match. Never mind.
Yeah, he was in the 4-way.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot. It's been a year, guys. All right, but anyway, Penta. So yeah, give me Penta to retain.
I want Rusev to have a shirt that says "Thick Boy" on it.
Oh, I'm for it.
I thought that was a very nice. He's a thick boy. I think we should have a shirt that says "Thick Boy."
Let me just say this.
So lucky.
Let me just say this. This is the only prediction I hope I lose. I hope B wins this one. I really want Javon Evans to be the IC champ.
I'll be happy to be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine that. Imagine, like you said, Oba beats Brock and Trick and Javon walk out as champs.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Okay with that. I'm okay with that.
It'd be amazing. Yeah. I will do a out of nowhere thing, just a little scenario. I'm sorry. I'm kind of dragging the show along, but could you imagine like JD McDonough winning it and then him being Intercontinental Champion in Judgment Day with Dominik, having Dominik's belt?
I mean, I could see that too. I wouldn't be mad at that either.
That's a story that could be told. It's not the one I want to watch, but
it's
a story that could be told. Anyway,
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. The Music Man, Eddie Lamb Music with $10 donation. Just wanted to comment on Oba and Brock. Says Brock versus Heyman again. Gunther gets Brock for SummerSlam via Heyman's deal. Brock should get upset at Heyman for making that deal behind his back. This will lead to Heyman's third betrayal on Brock Lesnar. Yeah, that's true. Big Show in 2002, Roman, and now with Gunther. Wow. Yeah. We'll see what they do.
True.
Now,
Heyman's not very trustworthy.
Yeah, Heyman. He's always
dirty dog,
bro, that dude. So we're going to open up the actual WrestleMania with the return of the Demon. Demon Finn Balor versus Dominik Mysterio. I am curious to know what direction we're going with the Demon this time around, because the Demon is coming back, but this is the first time we're seeing the Demon under Triple H. So how is he going to handle it? We'll have to see. Easy prediction. You don't have the Demon lose to Dominik on his first night back as this is Finn Balor's first WrestleMania as a babyface since Jesus Christ. I don't even remember. So yes, he's gonna win. The Demon is gonna beat Dominik Mysterio, as he should. I think Dom should be getting ready to go to that main event scene. I think Finn Balor is probably gonna spend a little bit more time in the mid cards, as he should. That's fine. Dom, I think, is ready for the main event scene, and I think how we get there is we're gonna eventually get to Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. Rey has already come out and said he doesn't care what plans WWE has. He wants his last match to be against his son, Mask versus Hair. So I think that match might be happening sometime this year too. So he's going to lose here, but Dom will get his heat back. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But yeah, easy prediction. Finn Balor wins. Steven, who we got winning?
Yeah. Well, Triple H did oversee Demon Finn in the Black and Gold NXT a few times. And he was
that is true.
treated with the most reverence that he's been treated with under the WWE umbrella. I'll say that at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's an easy win. I mean, listen, if Demon Finn Balor beat Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, he can beat Dominik Mysterio at WrestleMania. I'm a little with you about elevating Dom after this, but I would send Dom to AAA for a little while. And when he comes back, have him elevated, like just slide him right in at a top level. But he's gonna have to lose that mega title at some point. So I would just have him down there doing stuff, and maybe you could already start planting those father-son seeds on AAA television with that crowd, and maybe you have some kind of main roster AAA super show at some point, so that way you can put Dom and Ray with a AAA fan base, but on a main roster show. I don't know. I don't want to go too far down, but yeah, Finn's it's the easy choice. It's the predictable choice. It's the right choice for this one, in my opinion.
And B, how we feeling about this match? We'll go with B. B, how we feeling about this?
Okay, so it doesn't seem related, but in my mind, it is related. I felt like the Demon Finn Balor was basically retired, and I could be wrong, historian, you could correct me if I'm wrong, retired and sent packing down to NXT by the Fiend.
Yeah.
And I felt like when they brought Finn back, that at some point that the Demon deserved to get a win over the Fiend to correct that.
Right. Right.
And so when that didn't happen, I feel like if you're gonna bring the Demon back, you don't bring him back for him to lose. Right. Because we thought when he came out as the Demon versus the Fiend that maybe he would win that. But not only did he lose, but then he also went down to NXT. And I don't usually remember stuff like that, but I felt like that was a big deal, because I thought one day that he would be able to get his like how Mark by Wrestling was saying, like at some point you kind of get your comeback, and then he never did. And I just felt, I think that was because they ended up, Bray left and it was the whole thing, and then when he came back he wasn't Fiend anymore, it was the whole thing. But still, I feel like he is owed that win.
Yeah. That match where he lost to Roman as the what's the stupid thing called? My brain just went right. The Demon. Sorry, couldn't think of the word demon. That's interesting. Anyways, did that happen after that or before that? My timeline is so.
Let me look up.
I think he fought Roman.
I feel like that was in 2020 also, because I feel like that was when Roman was putting on a mask when he was walking through the crowd. Crowd spots, or 2021?
No, actually, I think he fought the Demon while he was the tribal chief.
Right. So, yeah, because they did that weird thing where the rope broke, and then they started playing his music, and he started having a seizure to wake back up. He was like hooking up, but like as a demon. We were deep in
Roman,
demon abuse.
No, Roman, point. You're right. He did lose to Roman as well. I guess he was the Demon as well, but
he's still.
But either way, I don't know. He's just his Demon thing. I always thought was supposed to be his winning thing, and so then he lost. Yeah.
Well, I think to your point, he still has lost his way from losing to the Fiend. So like he's owed that sort of redemptive Demon moment, I guess, right?
Yeah, I just feel like he owed redemption. Really, was the point? Yeah,
I think they can do that for sure.
So, who's your prediction?
So, Demon to win. Okay. I feel like he needs to be redeemed as the Demon. Like it's such a big deal to bring the Demon back out. You shouldn't bring him back out to lose again. Right. When the last two matches we're thinking of, he lost both matches, right? Didn't he lose to Roman?
He did.
He lost. And he lost. Someone else brought up to Edge at WrestleMania 39 too, in that Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
Right. So why bring him back if he's got a losing streak as the Demon, just to keep losing? Then why would you bring him back? That wouldn't make any sense to me.
I like that point. Hey, take us home. Who you got winning?
Well, I hear you.
Oh, about
and
time.
I understand y'all. But I gotta disagree with you, homeboys.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I gotta disagree with you. Here's the situation. We talked about it earlier. I'll be very, very brief. Liv Morgan backstage having a little conversation with Roxanne Perez, basically about Dirty Daddy Dominik Mysterio, and says, you know what, we need to talk about this, sister, before they got freight trained. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a sticking point. That is a sticking point that Liv has not forgotten about, as she wants to get back to that. What better way to get back to that than to have the woman that brought Dom a plate of chicken nuggies, coming out here to lend the assist, if you will, to Dirty Daddy Dom, and for him to get the victory over Demon Finn Balor. And I will say this simply because we need a little controversy at night two. We can't send everybody home with some happy, good feeling matches, okay? There is precedent. We talked about it right now as far as Demon Finn Balor losing some of the big ones. I don't like the idea of him losing the big ones. I like Finn Balor. I love the fact that they brought back his old music. I'm a fan of Demon Finn Balor. Okay, but the reality is, if they're thinking long term, you can get back to Dom and Finn a little later on.
Right.
If you're really thinking long term as far as Judgment Day, if you really got the writers in the writers' room and they've got their thinking caps on, this is something that can lend to a little more friction that really will implode the Judgment Day. Whatever's going to happen with Raquel and Stephanie and Liv, all of this can tie in to all of that. And so I'm saying Dom will win this match with the assistance of Roxanne Perez.
Wow. What a win that would be for Dominik Mysterio, though. Huge.
I think that'll be huge. Because if he's truly going to be a main event player, he's got to win a big one. And there's nothing bigger than WrestleMania.
Damn. There it is. So give us your thoughts about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving on to a match that I have a lot to say about, honestly. Sami Zayn versus, let's talk about it, Trick Williams for the United States Championship. If you guys don't mind, I need to have the floor here for a second. Now, this should be easy, right? Everybody who's a booker, if you have been watching wrestling for at least a good 5 to 10 years, I'm pretty sure we're at the point where we can look at this and go, Trick Williams needs to win the United States Championship, right? Something's been going on with Sami Zayn over the last month plus, right? I would like to think it's a long-term thing they've been doing, but you know how I talked about them Frankensteining some BS with the Pat McAfee and the main event? I kind of feel like they're doing it here with Sami Zayn too. I don't think they know that what they want to do. And Triple H, I think, is trying to find a way to get the crowd back on Sami's side. It's not working. The fans had decided that this guy, whatever they're trying to do with him, it's not it. And I think the booking of Sami has taken a big hit ever since he lost to Drew McIntyre. Because you had him backstage talking to Randy Orton, talking to Cody, and talking to people, essentially saying, hey, you got to be an opportunity sometime. You want to be a world champion? You can't be Mr. Goody Two-Shoot. You can't be the honorable wrestler. Sometimes you have to take advantage of an opportunity. And to have him then use that to win yet another mid-card title, which then took Carmelo Hayes out of WrestleMania, which was a huge mistake, by the way. Gotta say it. Someone was gonna say it. It was gonna be me. It was a huge mistake to have Sami Zayn beat Carmelo Hayes and then not have Carmelo Hayes participate in the WrestleMania match. Now imagine if this was a triple threat match and it was Carmelo, Trick, and Sami. You know what? Fine. I'm okay with that. You had Sami take Carmelo Hayes out of WrestleMania, not beat him once, but then beat him twice. And then you had this guy go out on SmackDown and say, hey, I don't know why you guys are booing me. I'm still me. I'm still Sami Zayn. I still fight for you. I still love you, which then made the crowd hate him even more. If they're not turning him heel, this is some of the worst babyface booking I have ever seen. It's terrible. It's terrible. So because of the way they're booking this, my fear, and I hope to God I'm wrong, I think they're going to have Sami beat Trick Williams here, which would be the dumbest thing they could do at this moment. The best thing that they could do is to keep it simple, stupid. Trick wins, new U.S. champ, go on to fight Carmelo Hayes afterwards, which would be excellent. My gut instinct is telling me they're going to go against the grain and have Sami win. I think that's what they're going to do. I hate saying it, just like I hated saying the Bella Twins are winning the women's tag team titles. I think Sami's winning this match. And I think the crowd's not going to like it. I think the crowd's going to... If the idea is to turn him heel, fine. Okay, they shouldn't like it. They should hate him. No, I think it's a mistake to have Sami win the U.S. belt. We should be making him a world champ. I'm tired of Sami in the mid-cards. I'm tired of Sami winning the same belts over and over again. It's put up or shut up with Sami. If you're not going to make him a world champion, I do not care to watch him. I think they're determined to push him this way. I think Trick loses, and that makes me upset. I am praying that you guys disagree. Hey, you're next. Hey, I need you to hit me with a, I gotta disagree with you.
I love you, just Alex. I love, you my brother from another mother. We pump you up like nobody's business, but I got to disagree with you.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you.
I got to disagree with you. Listen, I got to be honest with you. Nothing against Sami Zayn and whatever the heck they're doing with him, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't like their match at all. I didn't like the fact that it was a hell of a kick. I love to call it a hell of a kick. I know it's a haluga, but that's what it is. A hell of a kick.
Yeah.
Taking out Carmelo Hayes after the whooping, I don't even know what you want to call it, that he had with Ilya Dragunov. And you're telling me that it was a hell of a kick that ended it all? Nah, player. I have a problem with that. You cannot do those two things in front of the WWE Universe and expect them to believe what you have now wrought upon us, that that's how it's going to happen.
Right. I
was thrilled when I finally saw Trick Williams go backstage having a conversation with Melo. I said it to her. There's something about the chemistry that Melo and Trick have. It just gave me those shades of NXT. I've been waiting for these gentlemen to cross paths, and it finally happened. And it's going to happen again. I said what should have happened months ago when NXT, when still had Trick Williams, and Trick Williams would pop up on SmackDown just in the audience. And I'm like, wait a minute, Melo and Trick on the same show and nobody's doing nothing after the stuff that they had going on in NXT was a crime. Yeah. You should have had some interaction backstage. Somebody should have been coming out of Nick Aldis's office and there should have been some interaction. I think we're going to get that now. Right. I think we're finally going to get that now. I think we're going to get Trick Williams coming up on that belt that Melo had, because what happened over there, Melo still calling Trick the little brother, saying he's the big brother. That needs to happen. You have finally broken that barrier by having these two gentlemen interact with each other. And there was nothing quite as we were at church this morning and the pastor was talking about his older brother always trying to outpace him, outdo him, outshine him in everything that they were doing ever since that he was a kid. That's what Melo's been trying to do. But the reality is Trick Williams is far and beyond over at this point in his main roster run than Melo ever was. It took Melo a long time to get to the point where he is, whereas Trick Williams is already there. Yeah. And there's nothing quite like little brother getting that belt, getting that shine, getting it from the man that beat you. Mm-hmm. And now let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
That is how it's going to happen. Plus, he's got Lil Yachty in his corner.
Lil Yachty.
And it's always a numbers game. When it's going to be a shenan one, you're going to shenan again. He will be a factor. And Trick Williams will get that 1, 2, 3. And your new United States champion, Trick Williams, with the lemon pepper steppers.
Hey, B, I want you to tell me, I got to disagree with you. Who you got winning?
If I love lemon pepper chicken, why I don't love the lemon pepper peppers? I'm just saying. It's gotta we gotta be consistent. And at the end of the day, not only do I think that Trick Williams is going to take it and the audience is going to go crazy, I think Sami is going to go heel, and I think that he is going to rejoin the new heel OG bloodline.
Oh, wow.
That's going to come back to dominate because OG heel bloodline was so dang dominant, and I feel like we see like they're not the same when they're faces. We need that heel bloodline that we had to come back, and I think a heel Sami will go with the heel Usos.
And so before I go to Steven here, quick super chat by Mr. Mike Lee, $4,200, $5. I don't know, Alex. I feel like they should be setting up Trick and Mello in a program over the summer with the U.S. title. They should be, I said. And they might be doing it, hopefully. I don't know. I think WWE has other plans with Sami. But again, Steven, I need you to tell me. I disagree with you.
Well, first of all, I mean, I get not from the work rate of the match, but sort of the nuts and bolts of the face and heel alignment. This match really gives me WrestleMania 13 Bret Hart, Steve Austin vibes.
Double turn. Wow.
Because both of these men, and this is what happened with Bret and Steve too. The crowd turned them.
Yeah.
Neither of them actually ever changed. Like Bret was always a wrestler who could be accused of whining, but if he ever did, it was because he was really screwed over.
Right.
Like he never told a lie, and he always stayed fierce and competitive. And Austin, DTA, didn't care. Didn't matter who you were. He looked Farouk in the eyes in the middle of the Nation of Domination and says, "I'm an equal opportunity whoop ass, can opener. Like I don't care. I don't care what color you are, son. Like he was. So like I'm gonna, I got the same vibes and the same hands for everybody. Sami, what I see of Sami is a guy who is trying to be consistent. Kayfabe curtain is up right now. He is down right now. Yeah. I think he's coming out here saying like, I'm still the same guy. Like I haven't changed. I'm trying to grab that brass ring. I'm trying to be at WrestleMania. Like, why would you boo me over that? Yeah. And also, it wasn't Sami's fault that Mello lost the title. It was Trick's fault.
Yeah.
Which was perfect booking in my opinion. I'm sure there is a universe where we could be really excited about Mello being a part of this match. I don't need him in this match right now. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but Trick is already a bigger star than Mello.
Right.
He is.
And it's not close. I need you guys to understand that there's only been one wrestler in history who has gotten the what chant from the crowd, not because they were being trolled, but because they wanted to hear the next thing the wrestler was going to say.
Right. Yeah.
And that was the inventor of the what chant, Steve Austin himself.
Yeah.
Not since Steve Austin has the crowd whatted along with somebody like they are with Trick. Not since The Rock has this oozing charisma. Like Trick's charisma is outpacing his in-ring ability right now. And I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler, but that also is very 1998 The Rock too.
Yeah.
Like, so I got to tell you, out of our three pieces of the Trinity of Black Excellence, Trick is the closest thing to the whole package, which I would not have guessed. I would not have guessed when they were in NXT. But I see the way the crowd responds to all three of them. They're all three mega over in their own way. But Trick has got the best of column A and column B right now.
Yeah.
Which makes me furious that they're pairing him with Lil Yachty. Because he doesn't need anybody.
Right.
The man can walk on his own two lemon pepper steppers. He's a great promo cutter, and he does not need a mid-hype man who's just famous, who's 2026 famous. Like, if this gets Trick Williams opportunities to pop up on MTV or BT or ESPN or whatever, if it gives him more viral moments outside of WWE programming, then I'm okay with them doing it. But when the show starts, when we get Then Now Forever together, I don't need to see Yachty with Trick.
Right.
They can hang out. They can hang out outside the building. Yachty can buy a ticket. He can buy a ticket and get the camera on him when we come back from commercial break, like all the other 2026 celebrities. Like I don't need him on the other side of the guardrail wearing his gingerbread man shirt and all this other stuff. Let Sami, ring general. No Gunther pun intended. Let Sami be the professional veteran to help make Trick, and let those guys work. Sami can do it. Trick is a good wrestler, and he's learning fast, and he's coming on strong. I hope Lil Yachty is not involved in this hardly at all, other than just being a hype man. I can't wait to hear Vegas when Trick walks through that curtain. It's going to be loud as all get out. And I think, in the vein of Brett and Austin, I think it'll go a little bit differently. I think Trick will win. I think he will be the new U.S. champion. And I think Sami will snap on him after the match.
Oh, Jesus. I hope right.
And solidify the turn.
I'm with that. You know what?
Yeah.
I hope all three of you are right and I am wrong. I just remember, this is a prediction of what I think WWE is going to do.
Well, we think not what we want.
Not be what we want. And so I'm glad all of you said Trick, because I want him. I want Javon, I want Trick and Oba to come out with wins at WrestleMania. That would be awesome. But we'll have to see what WWE wants, because what I want usually might not be what they want. Speaking of things that I want, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship. Originally, this was supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. And just seeing that, knowing that that was supposed to be the match, it hurts. That being said, and I want people to hear me, the build to this is whatever. There really isn't a build. Rhea won the Chamber, and now she's on SmackDown talking to Jade. All right, whatever. Not a fan of that segment where they had all three members of her new group. What is her new group called? It's not called the Base. It's called something. And they were talking over each other, and we couldn't hear what Rhea was saying. That was a disaster. Outside of that, it's whatever. I'm not necessarily going to sit here and say it was great, but I already knew that the build wasn't going to be all that important because Rhea and Jay are not known for their talking ability. They're not. I love Rhea. She's not the best promo, but what she is great at is what happens inside the ring.
Yeah.
Jade has been showing us that when she's down, she knows how to bring it. All right. She's improved. Not by miles, but minor, but it's still there. The improvement is there. I actually think these two are going to have a really good match at WrestleMania. People aren't expecting it because the bill hasn't been all that important or that great. And I think the reason why they're going to be surprised by this is because they're not expecting anything out of it, which is a great spot for Jade and Rhea. Is the match going to go long? Probably not. It'll probably go like maybe 8 minutes tops. Jade doesn't do well when the match goes 20 minutes. So keep it at 8, have Jade win, and she will win. And here's why. Jade beats Rhea Ripley. It makes the most sense to have Rhea beat... it makes the most sense for Jade to beat Rhea since Jade beat Io. Steven talked about that. That was good. I think Rhea's going heel. I think this is the first step of Rhea having a downward spiral. And now it's like, I can't be champion. What has made me so weak? What about this is different? I'm still the Eradicator, but I can't win the championship. What's different? And then she thinks about who? Io Sky. I can't become champion because I can't beat. And then we get right back to her and Io Sky, which we do at SummerSlam. And I think that's where Rhea finally beats Io Sky. But see, that's how we set
You were
it up.
supposed to be my friend.
Oh, Lord, Batista. Right. No, but like, no offense. I understand Rhea's one of the most popular baby faces in wrestling right now. She's not all that interesting as a baby face. Am I going to get in trouble for saying that? Are we good? Are we good?
She's got more edge as a heel.
I like what you did there. More edge. No, she does. And I felt for me, if there was ever a time to take her in a different direction, this would be it. So Jade beats Rhea. She goes heel or begins her heel turn afterwards. That's my prediction. Steven, how you feel about that? What is your thoughts on this match?
Sorry, Brutus the Barber Beefcake did a bump did a table spot here. Had to pick it up off the floor. Strutting and cutting, baby. So yeah, speaking of what I want versus what I think, this match, yeah, like, you know, I mean, I don't have any distaste for either woman in this match. I think they both have a lot of, I mean, it's obvious they both have a lot of good selling points. Jade's the champion, and Rhea is probably the most marketable woman they have right now, you know, and stuff. And so it is what it is. But sometimes, you know, sometimes you got pizza and sometimes you got sushi, and they're both amazing, but I don't want them together.
Hey, I like that.
And I love both these ladies. I'm just gonna, you know, hold my breath and crack open a Coke Zero and sit through this match. I'm not expecting it to be, as JR would say, bowling shoe ugly or anything like that. I think Jade's too competent to let that happen. Sorry, I think Rhea's too competent to let that happen. I don't think Jade's incompetent, but I just meant to say Rhea.
Right.
Anyway, I just think Jade walks away with it. I can't quite image. Maybe it's just that dang numbers game, you know. But I don't know, man. I just got the feeling they're not done establishing Jade as champion. And I'm always curious, how close is Bianca to coming back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, that's what did it for me too. I think
if she is, why bother taking it off of Jade for now? So yeah, numbers game probably, and yeah, I'm calling Jade to retain.
B, how we feeling about this match? Who you got winning?
I'm kind of surprised that Bianca hasn't just amputated half of her finger by now and been like, let's just get me back in the ring.
Seriously.
It's just so crazy. But I agree. It wouldn't really make sense to just take it off Jade right now. And I do think that we are going to ultimately get Rhea versus Io. But right now we need to get Io versus Asuka first. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to come soon. But I do think this could turn Rhea into a whole what have I become, like being nice and getting me nowhere kind of thing to get her back heel, because she is more interesting with that heat on her. Absolutely. But although her and Damian Priest would have been just as whatever, you know, I don't know why they don't get me started on that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to agree that it's going to be Jade retaining. I'm sure it will be a good match, but I think that just makes sense right now.
Take us home, May.
You don't think it's going to be a good match?
I don't know if I'm going to go say it. I think the match is going to be aight. I think I'm not. Whatever they've been doing up to this point for me has been a snooze fest. I think the most interesting thing to me is the resurgence, if you will, of the Baddies 2.0. I was a fan of the Baddies in AEW. I'm a fan of the Baddies again. I hate the fact that Mi Chin just couldn't get the job done. So she couldn't beat her. She had to join her. The same with BFAB. It is what it is. They're going to play a factor. Whether or not they play a factor of any significance remains to be seen. I agree with you, Just Alex, that this is going to be the catalyst to Rhea Ripley questioning herself, doubting herself, if in fact Io Sky is going to best the I forget which was which, the senpai or whatever one, where was the master, if you will.
Yeah.
Io has to win in order for her to look stronger with the ultimate meeting that she'll have with Rhea Ripley. It has to be that way.
Yeah.
With that said, I'm not terribly interested in how this match is going to go, aside from at the end, when the winner, when she gets her 1, 2, 3, and she's standing there celebrating, and then we hear I'm on my own against
Against
the
the
wall.
wall.
I'm telling you right now, we at this point, at this juncture in WrestleMania Night 2, the crowd is going to need that injection. It's going to need that shot in the arm. I don't know if she's going to be 100% healthy or not, and it doesn't matter because all she needs to do is make an appearance that she's this close at the very least. But we are itching for that. We have been. I feel it. Jade being champion right now, as sad as this is for me to say, it feels like she's literally carrying the title around, just waiting for Bianca Belair to show up. I feel like she is walking down the yellow brick road. She's a paper champion. You're a paper champion, Balboa. I feel like she's just carrying this thing around, waiting for the inevitable, waiting for the inevitability that is Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
And I think we need that. I think we will need that at this point in Night 2. I think the crowd will geek for it. I think Jade Cargill will lose her mind. And if she sends the baddies off to her and Bianca Belair, there's any sort of fisticuff, then that will give us our answer. She is healthy. She's ready to go. Get ready for it, folks. It's coming, and I can't wait. And that is my prediction.
I will say,
go ahead,
that Bianca has been photographed at one of Natty Neidhart's group training sessions within the past month. Her and Tez and Dawkins, the milk carton street profits, have been hanging with Natty. But Bianca has been there too. So she must at least be good enough to tumble a little bit. We'll see how much.
Yeah, she got the finger surgery right before Rumble, I believe, and she had the rehab all throughout February. And yeah, she's already back training. So,
if I may say, that's what they showed us. That's what they showed us. They showed.
I'm gonna need her
finger surgery. We don't know that. This could have been months before.
I'm gonna need her to hold up today's newspaper with her, finger exercises on her Instagram stories. And I'm like, you can't tell me that wasn't from August of last year, and you just saved that video to post it now. But anyway, AJ, who was your pick? I'm sorry, who was your pick for that match?
Jade Cargill for the win.
Jade. All right,
because we got to think long term. I'll be perfectly honest with you. This is a little boring to me. This is a little boring. Their meetings have been boring. Their promos with each other have been boring. I've been a little bored. I have not been. I'm not excited to see this. I'm not really invested in seeing this. I'm not going to go so far. I'm going to stop short of saying a bathroom break. I would never do that, especially for the ladies. But this is. I need something else. You got to give me something else. And I'm praying to the wrestling gods of old that Bianca Belair is in fact healthy. That we're doing a Seth Rollins, and she is been rusing us this entire time. Obviously, she's injured. She got the surgery. We know this. Them dropping it when they did is making us believe one thing, that she's nowhere near returning. And you can't do that with Naomi. We all know that timeline. So that is what it is. But with this, nah, I don't buy it. And I think we're going to see that hair whip, and it's going to go down.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world champ has spoken once again. 3 Diggers with a $10 drop, totaling amount of $100 for tonight. Thank you so much, champ. You the man. This Bianca absence and return will make people realize what I've been saying all along, that she is the GOAT of women's wrestling. I'm on my own against the wall. I love it. I love it. 3 Diggers. Thank you so much for that massive donation. And ladies and gentlemen, we are closing things out with the final match, the main event match. We have gone 3 hours. Thank you all so much. These guys are amazing. Big audience too, over 200. I think we are totaling 250 across 8 platforms. Thank you all so much for that.
Thank you.
Before we get to the main event, in the description, there is a link to predictions that Mark by Wrestling would like you guys to go ahead and enter. Now, Mark, I have a question. Are you going to be doing something separate with that? What's been going on with that? Yeah.
So what we've been doing, AMB and I on the lesser PLEs do joint prediction shows every month, and we've had an internal predictions championship that you've been a part of for the big shows because you're big time money. You're big time Alex, so only the big shows for Big Alex here. But the rest of us grinding it out on the indies here. We do every show, and nevertheless. So we have an internal, we call it the Coalition Cup, that we share amongst ourselves. But last year, actually, it might have been during last WrestleMania. I don't quite remember. And since Three Diglets is in here, he was part of the inspiration for me to try to create a way for our combined chat audiences to get in the game and do a predictions contest with us. Now, since I'm not gifted in digital creation, I don't have a tangible belt to award people, but our boy Dossie Chatham has had a Bruno Sammartino like chokehold on this predictions championship since we started it. He's won by the skin of his teeth a few times, but he has not lost. So it's a Google form. It's a Google form I create for every show that we do predictions for. It's in Alex's episode description. When I go live for NXT, it'll be in my episode description. A and B, you're welcome to take that link and put it on any show you want to go to as well. I moderate it. Basically, you just pick the winners of the matches. You pick the match order of each night, which WWE already gave us a couple of freebies on that one. And then I also add a couple of bonus questions just for fun. And I tally it up at the end of every show. And if I can be on my game, I try to give out the name of the winner by the end of the stream that night. If not, it usually comes around by Raw or NXT the next week with who the new champion is. But follow that Google form, fill it out, and I'll tally that stuff up, and we might have a new chat predictions champion.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of the champ, quick shout out to Bow to the King, 3 Kings, who has been a member of the channel for 16 months.
Heyo.
Hi.
Man, you the man. Hey, A and B, your peoples is in the chat. They are saying hi to you. They coming to support you. They love you as we do here in Alex's world as well. But we gotta close it out with the main event. Steven, you've been building up to this. You're gonna open this one up, but let me set it up for you.
Let's get
the main event. This is fun. The main event of night 2, and therefore WrestleMania 42. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Big time Zebros going head to head. CM Punk's actual first legit main event for WrestleMania. Something that he's been working his entire career to get. He finally got it. And it's against Roman Reigns, who is having his, check this out, his 11th WrestleMania main event. And if anyone has anything to say about it, he'll have his 12th next year. But we're going to talk about that when it's my turn. It's Steven's turn. Steven, my friend, big match. All right. Who you got winning?
This is not a DX reference, but I do have 2 words for everybody. Corporate ministry. I don't know if you guys remember the, for better or worse, formation of the corporate ministry in the Attitude Era. Vinnie Mac had the corporation, Undertaker had the Ministry of Darkness, and you had these 2 really nasty heel factions decide to merge into one super faction to run roughshod. And granted, it was the Attitude Era, so all of us had the attention of fireflies. I don't know how long, fruit flies, not fireflies. Sorry, Bray Wyatt on the brain. And I don't really even remember how long it lasted. I just remember that it happened. And so I've got that, and I've got an idea in my head that I'm not super excited about, if I'm being honest, but I can see it on the wall. 2 words, corporate bloodline.
What?
CM Punk opened his mouth and ran his mouth about Pat McAfee. Whenever he's given time to cut a promo, he takes a pot shot at The Rock. He takes pot shots at Dwayne. He takes pot shots at TKO. Cody is now taking pot shots at TKO. LA Knight is on Jey Uso's last nerve.
Yeah.
Trick Williams is about to turn Sami Zayn insane.
Yeah.
I don't know what the future holds for the main event of WrestleMania. But I do think Roman Reigns is going to walk away as world champion. I think CM Punk, it is laughable as the base level insult as it was. I think Punk is going to tell a story with his body in the main event of WrestleMania that he is too old to hang with Roman Reigns.
Wow.
And whoever Roman Reigns brings with him. We see Jimmy and Jay show up? Maybe. Do we see Jacob show up? Maybe. Do we see Solo show up? Maybe. Do we see Sami, who I predicted would turn heel earlier in the night? Maybe. God help me. Does Pat McAfee show up to stick it to CM Punk? I hope not. I hope not. Because I wouldn't want to see them do that 2 years in a row. But there is some sort of shadow Inspector Gadget, Dr. Claw element to the nameless, faceless TKO. And if I'm looking at any of my top stars, and I am the corporate board member guy, who is the most put together champion that will do what I want? It's Roman Reigns.
Roman. Yep.
And all you got to say is, Roman, you only have to work this many dates, brother. You only got to work this many dates, Oos. You're okay. And we can see, I would be interested in seeing another version of this Roman, because I would rather see a more quietly insecure Roman. He's not the guy cutting promos in the face of the camera anymore, saying, I'm going to smash all y'all. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Instead, I think he's going to be I would like to see him a little more quiet, a little more Jacob, stand in front of me. A little more Sami, you handle that one. A little more, not chicken, necessarily, not cowardly, but more tactical. And then sometime between now and August, he's in the middle of a acknowledge me promo and the crowd starts grunting. And the spotlight hits the entranceway and there's a ruler walking to the ring. And Roman's like, nah, dog, I'm not about this life. And and that is when he starts to be a chicken.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, that's some major fan fiction stuff I'm doing, and I get it that it's so out in left field, and it doesn't have to be, but like but at the end of the day, I think and that's why I said SummerSlam, Oba needs to do to Roman what Brock did to The Rock, and we can have that full circle moment, and you know what? Bring Dwayne back and let Cody beat him, and it doesn't have to involve a title. Just do that for me. Just do that for me. Like I need Cody to get his lick back. Let LA Knight have a feud with Jey Uso, or bring Mello into it. Bring Trick and Mello to fight the Usos. Like you can. That's what I'm talking about. That whole Super Friends thing. You could. It is so mid 1980s NWA Jim Crockett stuff. You don't have to have a good guy faction. You just need all the good guys who hate the bad guys, who hate the Horsemen, to team up. That's how War Games was built. That's how War Games was invented. Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff hated each other. It was literally the American dream and the Russian nightmare. But because they both had respect for a dude named Magnum TA, and they hated the Horsemen, they're like, let's get in this cage and let's make these men bleed.
Wow.
And so I'm not saying we get to War Games. I'm not saying this feud even lasts a few months. I don't know. But I think Punk gives out. I think him and AJ both take time off just because they've earned it. Punk has earned it. Punk has earned it as world champion. I don't know how much we see of Roman as world champion, if I'm being honest, but I think his shadow looms large. And I think some of these other guys do his dirty work for him.
So before I get to this super chat, first off, Steven, I love that. Loved everything you presented.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for indulging me.
Yeah, and 3 Douglas also loved what you said because he dropped a $10 donation saying, Steven, I love that. But TKO, Triple Nose, and everyone else involved don't have the grapefruits, the balls to pull the trigger on something so brilliant.
You may not be wrong there, Diglets. Yeah. But you know what? That's who I am as a channel, man. I try to believe. I try to be optimistic until I'm let down. But we'll see what happens.
I'm going to save myself for last. A and B, you can go next. A, big match. CM Punk main events WrestleMania against your tribal chief. Who walks out the winner?
I want to preface this by saying I hate part-time champs. Okay, I love AJ Lee. I hate part-time champs. Hate him. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I got issues with it, but obviously you said something there, Steven, by corporate champ. There's something to be said there. I think the fact that CM Punk cuts a nasty promo, somewhat kin to his OG pipe bomb, he went hard in the paint, and I think because he knew he had to, because he knew that he was coming in Mania as champion and walking out not. It is going to be Roman Reigns to win this belt. It has to be Roman Reigns to win this belt. I think we're going to see the power couple, that being CM Punk and AJ Lee, both lose their titles at WrestleMania. And I think they're going to take a little vacay in Chi-Town. I think they're going to just take some time as a couple to just lick their wounds and chillax. Now, what that means for Roman Reigns as far as television time goes, I don't know. I don't want him to win the title and then disappear for some weeks and then just pop up again. That's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. I know he's a busy man, and I know he's kind of got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But if we're going to do it, then we gotta do it. We're going to pay you enough money. They got enough money. We got to see you consistently, way more consistently. I'm not even saying every week, but we got to see you a little more consistently than what we have been seeing. And I said this about John Cena. The fact that one man carries a feud does not make a feud. I don't know how else to say it. You can have Kobe Bryant put up 50 points, 80 points all day, but the team can still lose. This is a team effort. Okay, you got a tag team partner here. That being, you got a dance partner rather, and that being your opponent. A feud is a feud. It carries. It takes two people to carry this thing. And I don't like one person doing the heavy lifting. I just don't.
Right.
It's like we've all done the seesaw. I don't want the one person on the seesaw doing the leg jump. We both have to do our part on the seesaw. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
Right.
So what that means for Roman going forward, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if the Usos are going to come out and lend the assist. I don't necessarily think that they need to, but I would love for them to come out after the match. As many Samoans as you can get to come out here and do the celebration, I'm cool with. But I think Roman needs to win this on his own. I think it's going to solidify him. I think it's going to make the most sense, and I think that's what needs to happen. I think that's what's going to happen. So I think this is going to be a solid one-on-one match. I like what you said, just Alex, about this making CM Punk. The one line that Joe Punk mad is you're too old. You know, that's the one line that got under your skin. Okay, so that's the Rock likes to say, the other side on. That's the anchor that we're going to use here. Fine, then let's go with that, and then you better follow through, because I've said this consistently, and I'll end with this. WWE, anybody can just anybody can just do whatever, but it's really the follow through. You that was for you, Steven. You gotta
hold the reservation.
You gotta hold the reservation. So you really need to follow through with your stuff, and I'm hoping that they will take that "you're too old" anchor. And we see that. I'm sure we'll get some nice offense by Punk, but ultimately we need to see Roman Reigns outpace him. We need to see Roman Reigns out wrestle him. We need to see him take at least one GTS. and get that shoulder up. Maybe not all the way, a little lackadaisical, but you get that shoulder up. We got to see you not being able to hang with the younger Roman Reigns, and then you catch that 1, 2, 3. Simple as that.
B, big match. Your tribal chief is taking on CM Punk. Who comes out the winner?
Well, I mean,
I saw that one coming.
this on camera, this looks like a Roman Reigns blimp that just kind of came in.
Says it all, right? That says it all.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I believe a heel Uso and a heel Sami reunite the OG bloodline, and this is where they come, and all of them in a ring with the ones in the air. And I think it's time for Jacob to be on board because he's tired of Solo talking mess. That's not the only family, So, and ultimately, even with Roman, even if Roman does leave, you might have Zilla come in. But just for now, I do think you are going to see him victorious. And I do see you will see all 4 of the OG bloodline, heel bloodline, throwing up the ones in the ring at the end of the night.
Well, just to pick up where everyone left off, and we'll go ahead and close it out with me here. I was actually very torn coming into this when it comes to this main event. Because, like you guys said, Roman winning would be huge. Him going back to the OG bloodline as a heel, as a, once again, part-time world champ, and still the world champ, and setting up feuds with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, and ultimately Femi. That sounds incredible. Please understand me. I would love that. But I gotta steal it, eh? Please, if I can just steal it for one time. I hear you, and I love what you're saying, but I gotta disagree with your homeboys.
What? You are cursed.
Disagree. I believe we are going to see something that people are probably not gonna see coming, and I think it's about time we finally saw it. CM Punk is going to be in his first legit main event. Like, this is the main event of WrestleMania against someone he says is the corporate face of the company, Roman Reigns. I think what we get here is going to be something that's going to be crazy, because you would think if this is the final match, whatever they're building with these two, all the promos they've been cutting, CM Punk cutting that, I thought the promo was great, by the way, B. No offense. You're free to not like it. I thought it was amazing, especially when he said, lower the prices.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are expecting what you guys are saying. What if we do something a little different? CM Punk, I think, has been great as a champion. I think CM Punk has elevated a lot of people as the world champ. I do think we're going to get back to him and Seth. I do think we're going to get back to him and Braun. I wouldn't mind him fighting Femi. But for all of that to make sense, because think about it from this perspective. Seth is a babyface now, right? Oba is a face. Braun, honestly, at this point, you might as well make him a face because the vision's done. Who cares about the vision? What if CM Punk shocks the world and beats Roman Reigns with a low blow? What if we get 2013 CM Punk? One more time. The CM Punk that held that belt for 434 days. You say AJ Lee's going to take a break. What if both of them end up staying, but they end up being different people? Because if Punk goes heel, so does AJ. Now imagine that dynamic for Monday Night Raw. Changes everything up. Roman, on the other hand, has business with someone else for next year's WrestleMania. So I'm thinking after CM Punk beats Roman with a low blow, and yes, he's busy, and yes, he has a Hollywood schedule, but we already know what they want to do in Saudi Arabia. This has been known. It's been reported for over a year now. The Saudi Arabia prince wants one match, and he's willing to throw hundreds of millions of dollars at WWE to get that match. If we're going to get the match, if we're going to get the match, the best time to set it up is at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
All it would take is for him to show up, have a stare down, peace, see you next year. Right? Now, I know I am probably the only person on this island that's predicting that. I want to remind everybody, I predicted that Seth would cash in at SummerSlam. Sorry, I have to keep saying that because I've been loving that. I was like, everyone was like,
Yeah,
Seth gonna cash in.
Yeah.
But I did predict it, and I was right. I also predicted that Seth would be back in time for WrestleMania. I was wrong on a couple of other things. I predicted Sami Zayn would win the Royal Rumble. The hell was wrong with me? But there's something about them going back to Las Vegas that I couldn't understand. Like, why would you go back to Las Vegas? You could have gone anywhere else. You could have gone to New Orleans. You could have gone to Minneapolis. You could have gone any other state and gotten just as much, if not more. Why are we going back to Las Vegas? There has to be a major reason why. And I think it's because we are going to get the boss one more time. And yes, it's to set up a match next year.
Las
What
Vegas
else?
is also the home to disappointing WrestleMania finishes.
I'm just
Both
saying.
9 and 41. All of that's all I'm saying.
They could sell the shirts.
It's weird.
that-
It's weird that it happened twice.
They sold shirts last year that said The Rock has finally come back to Vegas, so maybe they needed to finish selling those this year and make it true.
And I will say, Alex,
see.
it wouldn't be the first time The Rock showed up and then
Well,
made a WrestleMania match a year in advance.
here's the real reason why I actually think it is happening. Because no one's expecting it this time.
Yeah.
Everybody expected it last year, and they didn't get it. Now they're like, fuck it. He ain't coming back. He's done. He's never coming back. And I think that's why I think it's going to happen. Because nobody's expecting it to happen.
But he'll get booed.
As he should. The
Yeah.
Rock should
Finally.
get booed. Especially if, again, Punk is the one that's turning heel here. Because he beats Roman to keep that belt. Roman's on the ground. Rock comes out. He should get booed. Because it sets up Roman and Rock and Roman as the babyface. Roman should be the babyface in that feud. And then they can build it however they want. They can build it off screen. Because it's WrestleMania next year. They're in Hollywood now. Roman's filming. He's part-time. I'm just saying. I love what Steven said about heel Roman bringing back the tribal chief and fighting over Femi at SummerSlam. Give me that all day. However, a heel CM Punk fighting all those people is just as good.
It
And-
makes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the last thing I was going to say is keep this in mind, too. There's a certain guy named L.A. Knight. Yeah. Who is my prediction to be Mr. Money in the Bank. Imagine a CM Punk and an LA Knight feud. Come on. Money all day. But yeah, as you was about to say, A, before I interrupted you, because you had a thought.
Yeah, no, I interrupted you. My apologies. No, I like what you're saying, and I actually can see that. I think it makes a lot of sense, the fact that we expected it last year, and rightfully so, it didn't happen, and they're going to make it right by saying he's just not available. They put out there, he's not available. So, yeah, no one really is expecting him to show up. And that's why I think, for me, I can definitely see, and I think he probably will show up at the end, because they are going to set that up for next year.
Yeah.
What better way to begin and to right that wrong of last year than for him to show up at the end. Much like Bianca Belair, night 2 is going to be heavy. It's going to be really, really heavy. And I think we need to get that shot in the arm to the crowd. And I think it makes even more sense for Roman to be champion. Whether or not he's going to be champion come WrestleMania or not, it doesn't matter. It just will lend to a little more weight, if you will, that he's holding the belt. Maybe more than likely, The Rock will have that people's title belt that he had. I think, to me, that does make sense, and I can definitely see that happen.
Right.
I will agree with you on that.
Now, just so we're clear, just so I temper everybody's expectations, this is only my prediction, okay? I try to think like WWE when I do this stuff. They could just go with the obvious. Roman wins, turns heel, brings back the OG bloodline, and then we're off to the races, right? But there's a reason why they went back to Las Vegas. There has to be another reason besides, OG bloodline comes back. I think if we do get him at the end, that would be okay. Now it makes sense why they came back. Because last year they wanted to do something and they couldn't because Hollywood schedule. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Three Diglets. $10 donation says they went to Vegas again for the trade.
I think Godfather does have an establishment there somewhere. I've heard.
Oh God, it's the place to do it. Three Kings says Old Man Punk versus the head of the table. Excuse me, Old Man Punk is better than the head of the table. Send him back to be the head of the table and catering at his house. They serving dog food.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow.
Ouch.
Three Kings.
Too
That
soon.
hurt.
Too soon, Three Kings.
Coming at him like that. And then one more for the road by Three Diglets. Jey Uso in Vegas is going to come out to I'm on my own against the host. The pressure building, but no, I won't let it fall.
That's
What are you talking about?
That's cold. That's cold. That's
Oh,
cold. Don't you
my
put that evil on him, Ricky Bobby.
Goodness.
Jay better act right from what I've been reading, because I don't want to get, if I'm Jay, I don't want to be getting on any lady's bad side that I'm starting to hang out with.
Hey, Miss Parker.
You want to keep the Miss Parkers in your life, gentlemen. If you have a Miss Parker in your life, keep her happy.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, what a stream this has been. 3 hours and 30 minutes strong. I think this might be the longest stream we've done so far, which is incredible because it feels like, it doesn't even feel like it's been 3 hours. I love all three of you, and I love what we did here. And I love the people who are here to watch us through it. But unfortunately, this is the part of the stream that I hate the most. We have to bid you adieu. But before we do, these people are going to tell you where to find them and where you can see them for WrestleMania week. Steven Sandris, Mark Bar Wrestling, tell where to find you.
Always and forever, come see me on Tuesday nights to watch NXT. Listen, if you're not even watching NXT, just come hang out with us, because I try to play by play it as much as I can. Just real quick, if you're not like an NXT person, one of the reasons I love NXT so much is because I like college sports too, because there you get to see greatness before it hits the main stage. In NXT, even though they have lost the holy trinity of black excellence, it is one of the cleanest, most consistently booked shows every single week. You get eyes on just about everybody on the roster every week. You get angle advancement. You get to see glimmers of people that you're like, wait a minute. When that guy gets on the main roster, which is why I was so excited when Trick and Javon and Oba came up. And I'm about to get excited all over again when we see JC Jane, when we see Sol Ruka, when we see some of these ladies get their turn to come up. Whenever it's Lola's turn, she's finally got the belt around her waist, so she's going to be back home for a while. But when some of these ladies get to come up again, Blake Monroe, it's gonna be fun to see them mix it up with the main roster again. So every Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also throughout the week, me and my big brother, we go retro. We do a show called Mount Rushmore Matches, where I pick and curate YouTube videos from WWE's Vault channel or their WCW channel, and I put them in my episode description. And the last one we did an episode on the Surfer era of Sting. So we gave you 4 matches plus some bonus content of stuff. If you really want to know what Sting was like before he started dressing like the Crow, we give you a good sampler platter of that. And like every other wonderful person here on your screen, I'll be going live for WrestleMania this weekend as well. So come say hi. Need all the views and hours I can get.
And be Convos. Tell them where to find you.
Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, as you know, we have been on the move. We made a move from Los Angeles to Central Time. That is right. We're in the deep south over here in the woods. It's a little bit scary. I don't know how I feel about it, but you know what? We'll see where things go. So we've been a little out of the game for a bit, but we are back. We're going to be back In fact, next week for Monday night, well, this week for Monday Night Raw, we're going to try to do Friday Night SmackDown, but we are going to Viva Las Vegas. That's right, baby. We are going to be in the fabulous Las Vegas. We're not going to the Allegiant Center because we got fooled once. You're not going to fool us twice, but we will be doing our live watch along from the hotel room.
Yes, we will.
Night 1 and night 2. So we look forward to that.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find me right here and Alex for the safe space for wrestling fans like you. We will be here to review Monday Night Raw. SmackDown, ooh, that's 3 hours plus Hall of Fame. Oh boy,
Long
okay.
night.
That's gonna be a long one, but we'll see what we can do. But of course, you will see me for night 1 of WrestleMania, night 2 for WrestleMania 42, and of course, the Raw after WrestleMania. It's gonna be quite the week because it is a WrestleMania week. Follow all of us and be sure you check us all out because we're all family right here in Alex's World.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for making me and us a part of your day. This is Alex. This is AB Convos Wrestling Edition and marked by Wrestling, the Coalition, signing out. You guys take it easy. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
When you're... When you're in my world.